Welcome into Southeast Polk High School in Pleasant Hill, Iowa, home of the Southeast Polk Rams. Tonight, a doubleheader between the Dowling Catholic Maroons and this Southeast Polk squad. And we'll start with 5A girls basketball. Number 2 Dowling walks in, looking to build on their 10-1 record. Southeast Polk looking for their 3rd win on the season. I'm John Schaefer. Ryan's joining me tonight. Ryan, beautiful night for some basketball.
Yes, I am glad to be joining you, the famous John Schaefer.
Oh, please.
We finally connected here. But yeah, this is going to be fun. The CIML is stacked.
Yes.
No doubt about it. And this is the first time I've had the opportunity to see Dowling, so I'm really excited. I got the opportunity to see Southeast Polk against Ankeny a few weeks back. So we kind of have a tale of two teams tonight. We've got the 10-1 Dowling girls, led by the trio of the Mullers,
yes,
of course. But we'll start with Southeast Polk here and Brooklyn Ruddy. Brooklyn, when I watched her last, I got to call this with Paul Yeager. She's kind of the Swiss Army knife for Southeast Polk. She does a little bit of everything. 10 points a game, 5 rebounds, and a handful of assists. So again, she kind of makes that motor run for Southeast Polk. But on the flip side, Coach Brad Johnson knows this. He's going through some growing pains because he's got a really young team.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you see, we pull up the 5A rankings there, and Southeast Polk's got a tough test ahead of them. You said it, the CIML's loaded. Dowling Catholic's lone blemish on their record this year came to Johnston back before the holiday break, just a 3-point loss there. We know how good the Dragons are. This is a Dowling Catholic team, though, certainly can compete for a state title this year. Let's talk about who they're led by.
Yeah, they're definitely led by, like we talked about the Muller girls, but specifically Ellie. She's the senior of the sisters, 14-7 a game. And again, she, like I said with Brooklyn, she's the motor. She makes that group run.
And then on the other side of things, obviously for Southeast Polk, Brooklyn Ruddy is who we're talking about a little bit more too. But this is a Southeast Polk team that if they want to compete tonight, it's got to be a collective group. They're not super deep on their bench, so it's got to be, 1, stay out of foul trouble. 2, you got to try and get some rebounds and not give up a lot of second chance opportunities.
And got to mention the fact that they're super young.
Coming hot off of a win on the second against Ankeny, 64-57. Really tightly contested game at Ankeny earlier, or right after the new year. What do you expect out of the run and gun style of Dowling? Is it reminiscent of some of the greats that we've seen come through the Maroons, do you think?
Are we talking Caitlin Clark?
Yes, that,
okay.
You knew where I was going with that, didn't you?
Newsflash, she's pretty good.
Yes.
To your point, I think all roads to the state tournament go through Johnston.
Yeah.
But I certainly think Dowling will challenge. And I think why is that balance, right? So we certainly have the Muller sisters, but we got another nice player, Adrian Sears. She's 8 points a game, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. So again, I think that balance for any team can be very helpful when it comes tournament time.
Well, looking forward to getting to tip-off here once again inside of the Southeast Polk Gymnasium. We're getting ready for tip-off here in just a bit on CISN. We'll get you starters here in just a moment, next after the break.
It's our Red Tag event, now through the end of December at DeArmond Chevy, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram in Knoxville, Iowa. New Chevy Silverado 1500. Receive up to $11,000 off. New 2026 Chevy Equinox or Trailblazers. Receive 0% financing. New Ram 1500s up to $14,500 off. Plus 3.9% for 72 months. And new Grand Cherokees over $10,000 off. All at DeArmond Automotive in Knoxville, Iowa.
Joe here with Westside Auto Pros. I know that sometimes your car can be inconsiderate and need work when you're short on cash. So here's what I'll do. When you get your car fixed at Westside Auto Pros, I'll loan you the money to pay for it. Whatever you want done, repairs, services, tires, you name it. Get your car back on the road and you won't even pay any interest for 90 days. My wife thinks I'm nuts.
No interest, Joe? Are you nuts?
Get your car fixed now and pay later only at Westside Auto Pros. You don't suppose she's right?
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Cheaper, cleaner, and homegrown. Pump it up with unleaded 88.
Western lets your UTV power through the storm. The Impact V Plow and Impact Straight Blade, with the features the pros demand, custom tailored for your UTV. And to keep your work top-notch, rely on the Tornado UTV Hopper Spreader. Now that's a job well done. Western, more jobs done faster.
Visit Truck Equipment Inc. today at truckequipmentinc.com.
Hi, this is Chris from Fireplace Superstore. And if your old fireplace isn't giving you everything you want, you need to come see us so we can show you Heat & Glow's industry-leading gas fireplace inserts. A Heat & Glow gas insert will convert your old wood burner into a high-efficient gas fireplace that's easy to use and will warm your house. Come see us soon and get on the schedule for this winter's installations. For the best selection of fireplaces in the state of Iowa, come see Fireplace Superstore, just west of Homeacres on Douglas Avenue.
Free Godfather's Pizza begins with the download. Order through my new online ordering app and start earning free pizza and sides. It's easy. Download the Godfather's Pizza online ordering app today. Do it.
Run, jump, lift, swim, compete, connect, breathe. Whatever your workout, you'll find it at the Y, plus a whole lot more. Right now, you can try the Y for free. Visit any branch or online at dmymca.org. One membership, endless opportunities. Your YMCA.
And we're back here at Southeast Polk Gymnasium inside of Southeast Polk High School out in Pleasant Hill, getting ready for some 5A girls basketball action. Some other good matchups around Central Iowa tonight. Can't look any further than obviously number 5 Waukee Northwest at number 3 Ankeny. You saw Ankeny play a little bit earlier this year too, if I do recall, and a team that's got some talent that can compete.
Absolutely. So they have a star senior as well as an up-and-coming freshman that those two were pretty deadly when I had an opportunity to see them. And the freshman certainly doesn't play like a freshman. She is very savvy, three-point shooter, and also very tall. And so she's an inside presence. But they are a nice team and someone to watch as tournament time comes around.
And then Ankeny Centennial is going to be at number 1 Johnston. Keep in mind the Dragons, 62 wins in a row, 64 straight wins at home. A good one over there at Johnston as well. Certainly a team that scares a little bit of everybody.
So I would be remiss not to say, John, that I'm from North Iowa. You know that. We talked about this. But Chad Gillick is a Mason City guy.
Yep.
And he's kind of built almost like a New England Patriot dynasty over there. So he does a really nice job, and he just seems to continue to reload, which is scary. And we talked earlier tonight, Brad Johnson, the coach of Southeast Polk here, also a North Iowa guy, and had much success at Des Moines Christian. I don't know if you knew that. So, again, it's a work in progress here at Southeast Polk.
Absolutely. Well, let's turn it over to our PA for starting lineups.
The three officials assigned to tonight's contest, Rich Suka, Michael Johnson, and T.J. Augustine. Let's meet the starting 5 for the visitors from Dowling Catholic, starting with number 11, a 6'2 junior, Katie Moeller. Joining her is a freshman and her sister, number 21, 5'11", Nikki Moeller. Rounding out the sisters, with number 23, 6'3" senior, Ellie Moeller. Standing 5'8", wearing number 25, Maddie Grace. And a 5'10" freshman, number 31, freshman wearing number 32, Elise Arnold. And wearing number 34, 5'8" senior, Olivia Toohey. We ask you to now please rise, remove your headgear, and face the flag for the playing of our national.
We'll step away here for the national anthem. Be right back with tip-off on CISN.
Joe here with Westside Auto Pros. I know that sometimes your car can be inconsiderate and need work when you're short on cash. So here's what I'll do. When you get your car fixed at Westside Auto Pros, I'll loan you the money to pay for it. Whatever you want done, repairs, services, tires, you name it. Get your car back on the road and you won't even pay any interest for 90 days. My wife thinks I'm nuts.
No interest, Joe? Are you nuts?
Get your car fixed now and pay later only at Westside Auto Pros. You don't suppose she's right?
Thank you for tuning into today's broadcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our live events. You can also follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram in the description below for more coverage of Central Iowa high school sports and the Des Moines Menace. Now, back to the game.
Alrighty, national anthems in the books. Dowling Catholic and the Southeast Polk Rams getting ready for tip-off here at Southeast Polk Gymnasium. And it's worth noting Southeast Polk without their star senior, or junior I should say, and Hallie Clark as well this evening, dealing with an injury. So Southeast Polk a bit shorthanded as they get ready for this matchup against the top 5 team.
Yeah, as we talked a little bit earlier, John, it's really going to be a game of runs, and I think Brad with Coach Johnson with a young team is going to need to kind of chunk this game out in quarters, not get behind, not get deep in a hole, and kind of stick around and compete with Dowling.
Absolutely. Clark this season, she's been stellar. She has really been the anchor on this Southeast Polk squad. Just trying to get to her points here really quick because, I mean, it's one of those situations where she's just been kind of the lifeblood of this team, and we're getting ready for tip-off here. Once again, it's Ellie Muller stepping in for Dowling Catholic, and Dowling will win the draw. She was up against Elise Bartles, and Dowling getting into their starting offense. Sears fends off a steal attack, kicks it to the corner, quick 3 release. That comes up just short. Loose ball salvaged and rebounded nicely by Southeast Polk. Emerson Flattery.
Yeah, and you saw Southeast Polk come out in man-to-man right away, and so they certainly don't seem to want to be challenging Dowling from deep here in a zone.
Ruddy's little runner does not go. Now here comes the transition for Dowling Catholic. Long 3, and that'll find the bottom of the bucket from Katie Muller. Starts the scoring off from downtown. The junior stands 6'2", but can stretch the defense with that 3. Jasana Lovesmith falls to the ground, keeps her dribble. Bartles will work it back, why not? Olivia Toohey just off the mark, rebound by Sears. And she'll move with some pace into the front court. Underneath, nice little feed. Too easy there for Ellie Muller, the senior.
Yeah, that was just really good ball rotation from Dowling, and of course it converted into an easy bucket.
Southeast Polk, little inside action. The floater up and over does not go through. Another rebound for Dowling Catholic. Out to a 5-0 start. They'll work it back inside. Inside out they go. 3 rattles around. That one from Muller does not fall through. Sorry, Madison Rice there. But Southeast Polk needs an answer here quickly. Looking for their first basket of the night.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the Lady Rams might want to run the Iowa Hawkeye half-court offense, right, John? May not want to get in a track meet with Dowling.
This is Love Smith. She feeds it off. Ruddy drops it off. They'll work it inside. Shot clock under 5. Just having to force it up. Bartles off the mark. And here comes Nikki Muller up ahead. 3. Back iron, no good from Katie Muller. That'll bound out of bounds. And Coach Kristen Meyer looking for a little course correction on offense.
Yeah, the Rams will want to get a high percentage shot. See one go in, kind of get that confidence brewing, right, and get off the snide here.
Love Smith at the free throw line, turns it over. Muller feeds it off, back inside. This is Ellie off the window and in for 2 more.
Nobody home. Looks like a timeout by Coach Johnson right away here.
Brad Johnson needs the timeout, and 7-0 run to open this game, just a 30-second. But again, got to find an answer for the Muller trio as they work it inside out.
Absolutely, and I wouldn't say Dowling's doing anything fancy, John. It's they're really finding that trailing cutter, so they work the perimeter, find that cutter, easy buckets, or kick it back out. So nothing too fancy, but they're just executing really well.
Kristen Meyer chatting with her team down there as well, and just letting them know, hey, let's keep our offense in motion, don't get stagnant. I'm sure even with a 7-0 run, they probably know what this game's bound to be, but you don't want to get lackadaisical, create bad habits in a game that has the potential to be a blowout.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to dip to a level of your competition. You want to stay sharp.
Southeast Polk will get the ball off the inbounds, go to work.
After that Ankeny game, John, Yasana right there, number 4, scrappy ball player. And she's a freshman, too. Of course, she doesn't, in my opinion, play like a freshman. She's a hard-nosed kid, and I think she's really going to grow as the years go on.
Plays with some confidence, well above her years. That's Ruddy in amongst the trees, and it's a tough assignment once you get in there with Katie Muller, the junior, standing 6'2".
I don't know if our crack research team has informed us where the Muller, older Muller sisters going next year. Have we heard that, John?
I have not heard. I'll have to look it up here in the break. Shot clock, strike 0. That'll be a shot clock violation and a turnover. Just chastising defense from the Maroons.
Yeah, that can be frustrating with a young team, and you can see as the girls move the ball around, nobody's really looking at the bucket. You lose track of time, and there you go. You turn it over.
So this is Katie. She'll feed it around inside now. It's Ellie. Turns it over. And here is Love Smith on the fast break. Fakes the hesitation pass. And then she's stuffed by Nikki Muller.
And that's okay. I like that take, right? You got to be aggressive and high percentages, getting closer to the bucket and driving. And if not, you can get to the free throw line.
Just try and create something right now as Southeast Polk looking for their first points. 3.5 minutes in. Love Smith for 3. Off the front iron. Rebound to Ellie. She'll pass it ahead to Katie. Katie feeds it off to Sears. Back to Katie inside now. Ellie looking for a back cut. Doesn't get it. Katie for 3. Front iron, no good. Rebound. How about a long 3 from Ellie? Yes! Bottom of the bucket for Ellie Muller.
Like I said, Dowling does such a good job of finding their spots, right? Everybody's got a role. They pass the ball well, and good back cut.
Nice back cut. Brooklyn Ruddy gets the Southeast Polk Rams on the board with the up and under. Back cut of Dowling's own, and nifty little lay-in for Nikki, the freshman guard. Kisses it off the window for 2. Lead up to 10 for the Maroons. Love Smith will drive. Stuffed by Sears. Sears outlets ahead. Back to Adrian Sears. Down low. Madison Rice kicks it back out. Turned over. Here comes Ruddy once again off the steal. She'll attack the rim. Does not get it to go, but draws the foul. She'll head to the line, shoot 2.
Yeah, nice job by Ruddy and being aggressive on defense, getting in that passing lane and getting down the other end and getting to the line. And again, when you get in a hole, John, driving, getting fouled and getting to the line is pretty critical.
Ruddy with the lone field goal of the night for Southeast Polk. Her first attempt off the back of the iron.
You know, like I said, I haven't seen Dowling yet, and I'm looking at both sides of the crowd here, and Dowling seems to travel well.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good turnout on a Friday night for.
Yeah, and a nice Southeast Polk crowd too. So good to see.
Good to see. Of course, both sides for Dowling, boys and girls, ranked in the top 5. Boys for Dowling Catholic ranked number 3. We'll see them a little bit later this evening. So they try to stay perfect on the season, 9-0. The jumper does not go. Strong rebound. Put back up by Olivia Meredith. She'll head to the line, shoot 2.
Just to tease the boys' game a little bit, you just mentioned that's going to be fun to watch because, again, you got a perfect squad coming in from Dowling. But I tell you what, Southeast Polk is a scrappy club. And you've got the addition of Coach Dave Stubbs this year. Mm-hmm. And the one thing I kept mentioning during that Ankeny game to Paul was culture. This culture at Southeast Polk is a lot different basketball than it has been historically.
Of course, Coach Stubbs coming over from Grandview Christian. Had quite the career over there as the head coach as Southeast Polk tries to get some transition going. The ball just slips out of the hands there of Presley Zutenhorst. Meredith went 1 for 2 at the line. We sit 13-2 in this ball game. Down low, Ellie. Nice dish off Meredith with the lay-in. Tic-tac-toe passing.
Great cut. Wow, and again, just mega efficient. This team certainly has their plays down.
Doesn't waste touches, that's for sure. Strong drive. That's swatted away by Madison Rice. The drive there by Presley Zutenhorst.
You know, whether it be football or basketball, Dowling teams, again, are so disciplined. Mm-hmm. You know, and again, that's a tribute to the coaching.
Something Kristen Meyer's been doing, obviously, since coming in is that pass sails just over the head of Adrian Sears. But, yeah, Kristen's done such a good job. You go back to, obviously, Dowling Catholic and what they did with Caitlin Clark. Yep. I don't believe, ever won a state title with her, but still, they've had great players throughout the years. Sent plenty Division I as well. Drake University had a handful that would recruit out of there as the 3 is off the mark, and that'll take a hop, skip, and a jump out of bounds.
You know, when I was looking at the top 10, John, both boys and girls yesterday, the girls is pretty heavily weighted in Central Iowa. Yeah. Where the boys is kind of a mixed bag, right?
Yep, you get into the Cedar Rapids area, you get some rankings there, especially out east along the Iowa border. There's the big 3 from Brooklyn Ruddy.
You got Cedar Falls at number 1 for the boys, and Ankeny made a trip down there, and it wasn't good for them that night. So it'll just be so interesting to see come tournament time.
Depends on who shows up at Wells Fargo Arena. That's Sears takes it into the lane. Turns, pivots. She's blocked. Possession will stay here with Dowling Catholic. Pace starting to pick up a little bit now.
Yeah, and as long as Southeast Polk, I think Coach Johnson's comments, just hang around.
Yep.
Just hang around, right?
Ruddy subs out. She's got all 5 points for the Rams. Sears goes baseline, looks for an outlet, finds one. Drive. She'll kick it back out. The 3 from Sears. Front iron, no. They're going to call an offensive foul on Nikki Muller.
You and I saw Dad a little earlier tonight, didn't we?
Yep, John down a couple rows in front of us. Good to see John Sears out here from Channel 13, WHO. The Rams trying to get some life back to it. Under a minute to play here in the first quarter. It's moved quickly. Dish back out to the top of the arc. Stolen by Meredith. Meredith going back the other way. Sears hesitates. She'll kick back to the top of the arc. The 3 from Madison Rice off. Rebound corralled. I think they're going to get a foul here on Ella Wheatley, the sophomore for the Rams. Just team second. Not a lot of whistles to speak of in this one thus far.
No, I think that's always a good thing when there's not a lot of whistles. You know, both teams are moving their feet and working hard on defense.
Ball will move around the horn. Kick back out. 3. Does not go for Nikki. Rebound to Dowling. Sears will reset. Drives with her left. Quick kick. Read beautifully by Allie Bogwill. Bogwill in transition. Feeds it off. The lay-in does not go. Strong board for the Rams, though. Sloan Gaffney came up with it. She kicked it out. The 3, though, from long range does not fall for Wheatley. As the last second heave does not go, but through a quarter of play, 15-5, Dowling Catholic in front of the hometown Southeast Polk Rams. What did you see in quarter 1?
You know, what I expected from Dowling. High-level execution, everybody involved. I mean, if you look at their stat sheet, it's the definition of balance. There's a lot of good balance in there. And also on the flip side with Southeast Polk, I think we're seeing some youth here. A little bit of frustration, a couple turnovers here and there, maybe a few wild shots. And so, again, when you're young and you're going through those growing pains, you just have to work on execution and get good at the basics.
Absolutely. Well, we'll head to a really fast break here on CISN. 15-5, quarter number 2 up next.
Iowans are working hard, but high prices make it even harder to keep food on the table. Record numbers need help. Your neighbors, your friends, your community. Stopping hunger starts here.
Thank you for tuning into today's broadcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our live events. You can also follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram in the description below for more coverage of Central Iowa high school sports and the Des Moines Menace. Now, back to the game.
Iowans are working hard, but high prices make it even harder.
Now we're back in time for the inbounds pass, and you have not missed any action yet here in the start of quarter number 2. 10 seconds in. Southeast Polk looking for a little bit of life here after trailing by 10 through the first 8 minutes. That one swatted away, took a hop out of bounds. Katie Muller with the block.
Yeah, we talked, John, a little bit earlier tonight about avoiding, big momentum runs and holes. And this is kind of a critical time in the second quarter is that Southeast Polk has to chip away at this 10-point lead, not go into halftime with a bigger deficit than they have. And so if I'm Coach Johnson, I'm saying don't look at the scoreboard, just keep playing D and making buckets.
3 does not fall through. Katie Muller with the rebound. The Muller sisters all in right now. It's Nikki with it at the top of the arc, looking for a little bit of room to work. She was hounded there by Ruddy. Inside now to Ellie. Ellie will go to the rack, does not get that one to fall. Quick kick out. Katie with it.
I see Ellie, we're a little bit away, but I'm not for sure if she had a nose break issue. It looks like she's wearing a mask.
Yeah, has the plastic mask. Back-to-back games now that I've been on the call for, seen one. Usually that denotes an injury of some sort to the face area, and that shot from Ellie just off the mark. And that will cause a whistle and the Rams ball. And a chance to cut into the 10-point deficit.
We haven't seen Yasana Love-Smith back in the ballgame who started, so I'm not for sure if Coach is talking to her, she's catching a breather, or I don't believe she was in foul trouble.
I think just trying to mix up the rotation a little bit, probably get some fresh legs in. As there's a beautiful 3 from Gracie Wilson, the freshman. Rattles that one through, and it's now a 7-point game. Here's Sears, kicks it over. And Nikki feeds it down low to her sister Ellie. Ellie inside, and Katie with the finish. It's the Muller connection.
What do you think those family driveway basketball games look like?
Well, I want to know who plays the 4th in the 2-on-2 game. Probably gets pretty competitive over there.
Sounds like a job for Justin Bulber. Find that out.
The little floater from Roddy does not fall through. Katie will feed the corner. It's over to Nikki. Nikki goes inside to Ellie. Ellie trying to break the zone here. They'll work it around the horn. Long possession, still 18 on the shot clock. Feed it inside once again to Ellie. A little back pressure from her. Leads to the turnover, and Southeast Polk comes away with it.
Yeah, you turned away and tapped away.
Baseline drive. Doors slammed shut for Tui. Southeast Polk will reset.
I see Dowling's gone into a 2-3, kind of a well, now man again.
A little bit of a switch up. Beautiful take, though. Brooklyn Ruddy, the sophomore, making her impact. 7 of the 10 so far for the Rams. Lead back to 7 once again.
Like you mentioned, last trip down 4. Southeast Polk did jump into that 2-3, so again, they're kind of daring Dowling make those outside shots.
3 does not go. Ellie comes up with it, puts it back off the glass a little strong. Another rebound for Dowling, does not fall through for Rice, and now here comes Southeast Polk once again.
So we got it under 10 for the Rams, and let's see if they can chip away here.
They'll work it inside to Bartles. Bartles in the lane, drops it off. Now works it back out to Tui. It's Bartles at the elbow. Another handoff, little two-person game out there on the side looking for a cutter. Under 10 on the shot clock now. Ruddy, the shove. They're going to call an offensive foul. And that's going to go back toward the Dowling way.
That looked like a stiff arm from Stanley Cooper from SCP.
Strong play from Ruddy. She'll sub out, though. She's only got 1 foul thus far, but trying to keep legs fresh. And again, good chance, you mentioned it in the pregame, Brad Johnson's got a really young squad over there on Southeast Polk's bench. He's trying to get more of them involved as the 3 from downtown from Katie Muller once again. A couple of those on her night. She's been red hot beyond the arc. An active hand, Katie comes up with it. She'll go right back at it. Both players go down, leads to a turnover. And in transition, it's Tui. Tui kicks to Love Smith. Love Smith, crossover. Short jumper, in and out. Does not get the home court roll. She'll have to talk to the grounds crew about that one.
You know, like you said a little bit earlier, too, Brad Johnson's got a young team, but what comes with young team is experience. And I can promise you, as these girls grow up, right, freshmen become sophomores and so on, Brad will have a nice team. He's a proven winner. So again, he's going to take a couple lumps and learn a few things, I think, in 26, but that's okay.
Just 3 seniors on the roster for the Rams. Meanwhile, Dowling, pretty young squad as well. Of course, you have Ellie Muller and Madison Rice, both seniors. Other than that, the rest are sophomore, junior.
You know what? Ankeny's young. I'm not for sure on Johnson, but again, the CIML will be the place to be.
Johnson, of course, has Jenica Lewis, who's committed to Notre Dame. One of the top prospects in the state over the last few years. Active hands for Dowling. Leads to another transition, and Meredith up and in. Beautiful feed by Ellie, dropping it in over the top, and a better finish by Olivia Meredith.
You know what's fun to watch, too, John, is when we watch some women's college basketball, and you see Iowa, and you see Iowa State, and you see Illinois State, and you see UNI and others like that. You're seeing CIML names on those rosters, and that's really fun to watch.
Drake Bulldogs amongst that as well.
Drake Bulldogs, right in our backyard.
That ball took a hop out of bounds, and another timeout for the Rams. See if we find out if it's a 30 or a full. We're going to get a full timeout, so we'll take a quick break here on the Central Iowa Sports Network. Dowling up 12 on the Rams.
Iowans are working hard, but high prices make it even harder to keep food on the table. Record numbers need help. Your neighbors, your friends, your community. Stopping hunger starts here.
Thank you for tuning into today's broadcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our live events. You can also follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram in the description below for more coverage of Central Iowa high school sports and the Des Moines Menace. Now, back to the game.
We're back at Southeast Polk Gymnasium. John Schaefer, Ryan Hackey on the call this evening. Pleasure to be here. We've got a couple of games, I believe, on CISN. Urbandale at Waukee also on the broadcast side. We thank you for tuning in here on our channel. Again, a lot of good games from around the CIML and the Iowa Alliance Conference. Dowling Catholic, certainly a team that has shown they can compete with the best. They're up 12 right now on this Rams squad. Feet inside, floats a little high. Turnover going back Dowling's way. Ahead to Sears. Sears across to Clark. Clark around. The skip pass, nicely handled by Meredith. Drive does not go.
I would expect to see Southeast Polk stick with that 2-3. They've had some success with that, and
pull-up jumper will rattle off the iron. Rebound goes back down to Katie Muller. Muller ahead to Sears. Sears in transition. 3 does not go. Rebound strongly contested by Ella Wheatley, and she's going to take it back the other way and hand it off. Yeah, right now it looks like Dowling staying in that man defense. Sears called for the blocking foul. Will push.
I think it'd certainly be nice for Southeast Polk to get this back within 10 right before the break and keep it within striking distance.
Minute and a half to play in the first half. Inbounded here by Gracie Wilson. She'll hand it off to Ruddy. Ruddy kicks to the corner, 3. In and out once again for Wilson, and Southeast Polk just can't get a 3 to fall through right now. The kick over and across. Back up top to Katie Muller. Katie feeds her sister Ellie. Ellie off the window. She's going to cash in on that all night long.
Yes, she will. That's just a drop, step, and spin. Easy bucket for her.
Sloan Gaffney feeds it back out to Wilson. Wilson will go to the corner. Short jumper. Take a wicked hop off that iron and up ahead. Kate Clendenin. Short jumper for Katie, and Katie drops it through for 2.
That's a free throw, but a layup for Katie. She looks smooth coming off that pick, and free throw line extended.
Katie Muller up to 10 on the night. Her sister Ellie with 9. Dowling with 26 total tonight. Up 16, 20 seconds to play in the first half. Don't know if that had a piece of it or just came up short. But Dowling will get the final shot of the half. Katie Muller off the hop, feeds it down inside to Ellie. Double team. Brought away, stolen. Half court heave just under the net from Sloan Gaffney, and that will take us to the halftime. 26-10. Dowling Catholic well in front on the Southeast Polk Rams. First half thoughts.
Yeah, again, going back to Dowling seems to kind of stick to their template, what they do best. They get everybody involved. Certainly have some leaders with, I believe, the older Muller sister. That inside game and that efficiency with the passing and just the cutting and back screens is beautiful. Again, like I mentioned earlier, Southeast Polk's age might be showing just a little bit. I can see some frustration. And if I'm Coach Johnson at halftime, I'm saying, guys, to get back in this thing, the closer we get to the bucket, probably the better. Drive to the basket, get fouled, make layups, and so on. So it's going to be a tall task, but again, let's see if they come out with some intensity, Southeast Polk.
Well, it was a good first half for Dowling. Southeast Polk going back to the drawing board, see if they can come out with some fight in half number 2 on CISN. We'll be back after a short break. Talk a little bit more about this one in half number 2, as well as previewing the boys' basketball contest tonight. That will tip off here in a bit.
It's the end-of-year sales event at DeArmond Ford Indianola. New 2025 Escape, Explorer, F-150, Super Duty, Mach-E, and Lightning. 0 down, 0% financing, 0 payments for 90 days. Plus $1,000 mega cash. New F-150 Super Crew 4-wheel drive up to $15,000 off or 0% for 60 months. It's the end-of-year sales event going on now at DeArmond Ford Indianola.
fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Cheaper, cleaner, and homegrown. Pump it up with unleaded 88.
Western lets your UTV power through the storm. The Impact V Plow and Impact Straight Blade, with the features the pros demand. Custom tailored for your UTV. And to keep your work top-notch, rely on the Tornado UTV Hopper Spreader. Now that's a job well done. Western, more jobs done faster.
Visit Truck Equipment Inc. today at truckequipmentinc.com.
Hi, this is Chris from Fireplace Superstore. And if your old fireplace isn't giving you everything you want, you need to come see us so we can show you Heat & Glow's industry-leading gas fireplace inserts. A Heat & Glow gas insert will convert your old wood burner into a high-efficient gas fireplace that's easy to use and will warm your house. Come see us soon and get on the schedule for this winter's installations. For the best selection of fireplaces in the state of Iowa, come see Fireplace Superstore, just west of Homeacres on Douglas Avenue.
What if you could make a priceless difference in your community for as little as $5? With the Des Moines Catholic Worker House, you can. For nearly 50 years, the Des Moines Catholic Worker House has given the homeless and low-income community a place to feel welcomed. With your support, we could turn 3,000 free meals each month into 4,000. We could build a brand new warming and cooling center in our future facility. We could provide more hygiene products, more clothing, and more hope to those who need it most. Feed the hungry, clothe a neighbor, and spread your generosity throughout Des Moines by scanning the QR code on the screen right now. Donate online via PayPal or mail a check to make a priceless difference in your community today. Thank you so much for your support.
We're back here inside of Southeast Polk's Gymnasium out in Pleasant Hill, Iowa. Quick stat recap. The leading scorer for Southeast Polk, no surprise, in Brooklyn Ruddy, the sophomore. 7 of her team's 10 points in the first half. She's certainly kind of held the pace up for the Rams thus far.
She has, right? And so as much as they can keep her on the floor, the better. I think that's another thing, too, that Coach Johnson's doing with this young team is looking for combinations of people in what works well together when they need it.
Absolutely. On the other side, Katie Muller, 10 points leading Dowling Catholic. The junior has been lights out, a couple threes from downtown. And then Ellie Muller, her sister, with 9 points. They've only totaled 26, but a lot of them have funneled through the Mullers.
If I'm Coach Meyer, I'm not changing a thing. What I'm doing's working, so why change it, right? And again, I think if there's any opportunity for Dowling, it's, I would maybe say shooting percentage, right?
Yep.
This score could be a little bigger than I thought it would be, and they did miss some buckets, but I'm sure they'll clean that up.
Well, let's look ahead now to the boys' matchup tonight. Number 3, Dowling Catholic, 9-0 on the year, taking on Southeast Polk, 5-5. It's going to be a good one.
It is going to be a good one, and like all games, we're going to see some really marquee matchups and players, starting with Dowling. Charlie Crane, I haven't seen him in person. I've watched him on CISN, the only place to watch basketball, right? And Charlie's a nice player. He's coming back from injury. He got into that Waukee game and took over, was really promising, as well as Noah Martins. He's a great player, a nice guard, does a little bit of everything, kind of that Swiss Army knife, 14 points a game and 4 assists.
Well, you mentioned Charlie Crane, too. Committed to Navy, too. You don't just go to Navy to be an athlete. Good for him. But then on the other side, Southeast Polk, what are they bringing to the table?
So they kind of have a three-headed monster. And again, I've seen SE play very well. I've seen them struggle a little bit. But everything starts with Josh Charlton. He's a sophomore, number 22. Everybody's going to like him. He's a long, rangy player. 14 points a game, 3 assists. And then you have Manny TT. Very nice player. He is one of the defensive backs on Southeast Polk's team. As fast as a water bug, I would say. That guy is quick, and he is the engine. And then lastly, Grady Brunchwick-Norris. He's kind of their deep threat. Yep. He likes to hang out on the perimeter, let Manny do his thing, kick it out, and hit those threes.
Looking forward to a good boys game. We still have 16 minutes of basketball here on the girls' side of things. 2 quarters left to play. We'll head to break on CISN. and get you ready for the second half of action here at Southeast Polk Gymnasium.
It's our Red Tag event, now to the end of December at DeArmond Chevy GMC Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Knoxville, Iowa. New Chevy Silverado 1500. Receive up to $11,000 off. New 2026 Chevy Equinox or Trailblazers. Receive 0% financing. New Ram 1500s up to $14,500 off. Plus 3.9% for 72 months. And new Grand Cherokees over $10,000 off. All at DeArmond Automotive in Knoxville, Iowa.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Cheaper, cleaner, and homegrown. Pump it up with unleaded 88.
Western lets your UTV power through the storm. The Impact V-Plow and Impact Straight Blade, with the features the pros demand. Custom tailored for your UTV. And to keep your work top-notch, rely on the Tornado UTV Hopper Spreader. Now that's a job well done. Western, more jobs done faster.
Visit Truck Equipment Inc. today at truckequipmentinc.com.
Hi, this is Chris from Fireplace Superstore. And if your old fireplace isn't giving you everything you want, you need to come see us so we can show you Heat & Glow's industry-leading gas fireplace inserts. A Heat & Glow gas insert will convert your old wood burner into a high-efficient gas fireplace that's easy to use and will warm your house. Come see us soon and get on the schedule for this winter's installations. For the best selection of fireplaces in the state of Iowa, come see Fireplace Superstore, just west of Homeacres on Douglas Avenue.
Iowans are working hard, but high prices make it even harder to keep food on the table. Record numbers need help. Your neighbors, your friends, your community. Stopping hunger starts here.
Ever have one of those awkward moments when a business disappointed you? You got ripped off? Didn't get what you expected? The Better Business Bureau can help you avoid these uncomfortable situations. BBB accredited businesses are honest, ethical, and reviewed annually by the BBB. Don't experience another awkward moment with a bad business. Trust the ones that operate with integrity. Look for the BBB seal. It's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Thank you for tuning into today's broadcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our live events. You can also follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram in the description below for more coverage of Central Iowa high school sports and the Des Moines Menace. Now, back to the game.
Teams have gotten warmed up for half number 2, and Ryan, you asked, you shall receive. Ellie Muller committed to Mizzou, so she'll be going to play Division I at Mizzou next year.
What can't the internet do? Thank you for that information.
Good basketball player, obviously a great basketball school in Mizzou. The SEC basketball is no slouch. It'll be interesting to see how everything shakes up, obviously, as her career continues forward. But you've seen just the appeal. She uses her length so well, some good inside post moves, and certainly that's been on display.
And I love to see these girls stay around the Midwest.
Yep.
It's really important to grow the basketball here, and high school basketball, for that matter, in the state of Iowa is in a really good place.
I've been saying for a long time that girls basketball in the state of Iowa has probably been under-recognized nationally, but there's such a great appreciation for it. You see it, obviously, with the great turnout we've had here.
Yes.
Quick foul there on Yasana Love-Smith. But, great turnout here tonight. But I go back to how Drake women's basketball supported. UNI same way. Obviously, Iowa State and Iowa, it's easy to follow winning teams and top 25 teams consistently. Coach Bill Fenley has done a great job over at Iowa State, and look out for the Hawkeyes this year too.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt to have, like we talked about earlier, a superstar like Caitlin Clark come from your state, right?
Yep.
And especially
and
from the conference.
Local, yep.
But what's so exciting for me and why I love what CISN does is we expose athletes, get them out there, social media, recruiting, AAU, everything has gotten so much better, and our state has really embraced it and grown with it.
Madison Rice hits her first of 2. And she'll wiggle through another one. As we sit 28-10, Dowling Catholic leading the Southeast Polk Rams, and getting some meaningful minutes are these young Rams, I should say. Active hands on the far side by Madison Rice. She knocks that out of bounds.
I think in this case, sorry, John, that
no, you're good.
Even moral victories for a young team can be important.
Yep.
And so we talked about this as a quarter-by-quarter game for Coach Johnson, and this is where you don't want the wheels to fall off.
Ruddy shot off the mark.
And get in a big hole, but yes.
Sears out in transition ahead to Rice. Rice feeds it inside. Ellie with the bucket off the window. 2 more for her. She's up to 11. Wilson will feed it off to Ruddy. Ruddy, a couple of head fakes there. And she will toss it to Tui. Tui back to Ruddy, and then she'll hand off to Love Smith. Love Smith for 3 off the dribble. Back iron, no.
I like the aggressiveness of Love Smith. Like I said, she's a freshman, and she's going to take her lumps and learn a lot of things, but I do like her moxie.
Katie Muller from downtown does not go. She'll come away with her own rebound, drive right down Broadway. Lefty lay-in does not finish. The ball will bound to the Rams. One thing about Love Smith that stands out, really quick release on that step back too.
Really quick release.
Does a nice job with the crossover and then creating space for herself. She's not the tallest on the floor, but she certainly likes to make some room. She's only 5'5". Nice dish off once again, and a couple more for Ellie Muller. And another timeout heading Coach Johnson's way. It'll be a 30, so we'll stay here, but really you're starting to see Dowling get into their transition game, create down low. When they've got numbers, they're utilizing Ellie Muller really nicely.
Yeah, in her post moves and post presence, whether it's offensive rebounds or, getting quick passes from her team, she executes. And so again, I think Dowling at this point is going to keep their foot on the gas. Hope maybe get some other players in at some point in the game. But again, they've got a nice combination going here in the second half.
Well, we talked about in the pregame, Dowling doesn't dip too far into their bench most nights.
Right.
So I'll be curious to see how Kristen Meyer goes about that here this evening. Sit with 6:11 left in this third quarter, so just a couple minutes into half number 2. Love Smith takes it into the front court, uses a screen. She's going to try and probe her way down the key. Does not go. Ruddy now with it at the top of the arc. She'll dish off to Tui. Love Smith. Jumper from the free throw line. Gets the friendly roll. Nifty little touch for the freshman.
And maybe that'll get her going. Sometimes, again, you just got to see one go in.
This is Nikki. She dishes it off. And the little floater finish from Rice for a couple more. Anticipating the pass, that's Katie. Katie takes it the other way. Lefty lay-in does not go. Rebound to Nikki. Nikki floats it off the window. No, Katie with their own rebound there. That time it does. The kiss off the window for a couple more. Ruddy for 3. Rebound goes to Nikki Muller.
Yeah, and that's just not a high percentage shot. So again, if you want to get back in this thing, get a little closer to the basket.
Ellie Muller seals off Bartles, sorry.
No, quick one on this end.
And another timeout here by Coach Johnson, and I think this one's going to be a full timeout. So we will head to break once again. The lead is swelled to 26 for the Maroons on CISN.
Iowans are working hard, but high prices make it even harder to keep food on the table. Record numbers need help. Your neighbors, your friends, your community. Stopping hunger starts here.
Thank you for tuning into today's broadcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our live events. You can also follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram in the description below for more coverage of Central Iowa high school sports and the Des Moines Menace. Now, back to the game.
We are back here at Southeast Polk, and the finish by Ellie Muller, certainly a learning moment tonight. And if there's something for Coach Johnson to add to this one, you have a really young center in Elise Bartles who can learn something.
Yeah, so you read my mind. I think they can learn a little bit from the Dowling template where they use that point guard post player relationship, right? So it's almost like you do a clear out, you get that person isolated and let them go to work. So again, Elise, I believe you and I just looked up, she's 6'2".
Yep.
Let's take advantage of that.
Bartles with it here at the corner. She'll hand it off to Ruddy. Ruddy will take it down Broadway, blocked by Ellie. Ellie gonna head back the other way. It's Katie now, back into Ellie. Keeps the ball high, lays it in with the left. Just a nifty veteran move from Ellie Muller.
Veteran move, and I love to see the left hand. You know, a lot of time people will go to their lead hand.
They've really lived on that left side of the basket, though, too, tonight.
They have. So. They love that left side.
Nice take off the window, and that's some pace from Allie Bogwell. Allie just a sophomore. Now some press defense here from Southeast Polk, just trying to create some mistakes. This is Molly Austin taking it up the court. Dished it off. Here's Meredith. Baseline. Kick taken down from Bogwell.
Oh.
Bartles wasn't quite looking for it. Bogwell was just trying to keep it in bounds. Did a great job to keep her toes in and her heels out.
She did, and I told you over the break that Allie's dad, Charlie, here at Southeast Polk, he is the Iowa State superfan. I tell you, he's got the tailgate truck, and he puts on a good show for ISU football games.
Always a good time getting up to the tailgate lots. Ellie Muller up to 17 points tonight. Really, Southeast Polk just hasn't had an answer for the length inside the... Nice feed off to Meredith. She'll kick to the corner. Three, a little strong. Rebound by Sears. Sears at the block. Dowling kind of stuck in the coffin. The kick out, top of the arc. Long three does not go. Strong rebound from Sears. She's going to attack the rim. Gets the hoop and the hack. Old-fashioned three-point play on the way.
I don't know if her dad can hear us, and he's about 3 rows down, but she is a scrappy player. I like her style. She does a little bit of everything. She's aggressive. She goes hard. She's not afraid to take her shots, and been really impressed, and she's one to watch in the future here.
Adrian Sears, her first basket of the night, and she does cash in on the three-point play with the free throw. 3:15 to play in the third quarter. Southeast Polk looking for a little bit more pulse here.
So you notice we've got nobody under the basket for Southeast Polk, right? And again, that's something I think Coach has got to work on, is that have somebody run that baseline and get somebody down there near the bucket.
A lot of living through the arc. A hesitation, 3-2, and a block. Ellie Muller, the swat there as the shot clock violation is whistled dead. And Southeast Polk, or I'm sorry, Dowling Catholic going to get a couple subs in. Kate Clendenin checks in, as does Katie Muller. Clendenin with the ball currently, hands it off to Katie. Back to Clendenin, she's going to take the three, and she splashes Twine for the triple.
Nice shot of the baseline, and you see there SCP was in a 1-2-2, so I think they're kind of searching for what defense is gonna fit them.
Dowling, meanwhile, still living in man-to-man. Kick out. It's Ruddy. She's going to work it back to the top of the arc, take the handoff, trying to just create a little bit of space.
Great defense by Sears.
Into the lane, kick back out, long three, does not go off the window. The shot by Izzy Bogwell.
Did you hear her call bank?
She did not, but Sears says nothing but Twine. Three, and they've got to fix the net because it was so fresh, so clean.
Mm-hmm.
Sears up to 6. And again, I know we've talked about the Muller sisters, plenty of scoring throughout, but I think it's really been a committee approach tonight.
Yeah, and we would have to think Dowling in a different scenario, say against the Johnson or an Ankeny, may look to the Muller sisters a little more often, but tonight's kind of been a share the wealth night, right?
Good experience night for some of these young gals.
Yes, sir.
You know, Sears is just a freshman. She's had some attention coming up through social media and stuff as she came up through 7th and 8th grade. Katie with the 3, playing is off the iron, the backboard, and a rebound goes back Dowling Catholic's way. Great hustle by Madison Rice, tries to save it, just could not find a friendly hand to land that in.
Is Miss Sears committed yet?
I don't think we're that far along in the recruiting process.
Nothing surprises me anymore, John.
So it's, again, been a good night. Under a minute to play here in the third quarter. Plenty of basketball still left to call. But Southeast Polk just trying to find some moral victories. We talked about that as a Dowling Catholic turnover created. We're going to call a blocking foul on Sloan Gaffney. Taking it to the hole was Molly Austin, sophomore, looking for her first points on the night.
That's a call this year, you know, not only at the high school level, but at the collegiate level, that charging. You know, what are they looking for these days? That's always been kind of a bang-bang situation. And again, I don't know if about the officiating side, but anytime you're shuffling the feet, it's not good.
Yeah, if the slide's there, you have to be established before that person starts their launch. And, you know, I think in that case it was close. Give the benefit of the doubt to our Stripes. We obviously appreciate all of our officials as that'll touch every piece of the iron. But, again, for anyone out there that wants to see just how tough it is to be a ref night in and night out, challenge it. Go out, get your certification, become an official. We need more. We certainly always need more in all sports. We appreciate our officials greatly, and you know it's not always easy, but they do such a good job.
They do. It is a little bit of a thankless job, but it is fun. You know, what a better way to spend a Friday night, right, than running around, get a little exercise, get paid. And so we do have a shortage in Iowa, and there's ways and means to get your certification.
Well, and these games can't happen without our officials,
no
so
way.
We got to keep that in mind. And, well, we'll keep that in mind as we head to the fourth quarter. Quite the lead that Dowling has built on the Rams tonight. They'll look to finish the final 8 out in a strong manner next on CISN.
Run, jump, lift, swim, compete, connect, breathe. Whatever your workout, you'll find it at the Y, plus a whole lot more. Right now, you can try the Y for free. Visit any branch or online at dmymca.org. One membership, endless opportunities. Your YMCA.
Ever have one of those awkward moments when a business disappointed you? You got ripped off? Didn't get what you expected? The Better Business Bureau can help you avoid these uncomfortable situations. BBB accredited businesses are honest, ethical, and reviewed annually by the BBB. Don't experience another awkward moment with a bad business. Trust the ones that operate with integrity. Look for the BBB seal. It's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Welcome back into Southeast Polk Gymnasium. The inbounds pass, and we're off for the final 8 minutes of tonight's contest between the Rams and the second-ranked Dowling Catholic Maroons, who have just taken it to the Rams for 3 quarters of play here. Nice little cut, the floater off the window. Lovely play as Allie Bogwill cashes in.
Very nice. The give and go, and again, you know, more little ISO matches like that, and will certainly help with the growth process with SEP.
Ellie Muller gets the ball knocked out of her hands. It'll stay with the Maroons.
How about that SEP band, John? Wow.
They've got some volume to them. The pep band is out in full force across the way. In case you hadn't heard them through our headsets. Katie Muller now is just looking for somewhere to go with it. She finds Rice. Rice will feed back to Sears. Sears inside to Ellie. Ellie, the jump stop and hop. Why not pop one in for a couple more?
Absolutely. She's got a little bit of everything in that arsenal as far as post moves.
Another nice cut. Just can't get that one to go as it was contested for Bogwill once again. The handoff to Sears. Inside to Katie Muller. Katie Muller looking for Rice on the backside. That ball stays in bounds. Little English on it. Back up and around the horn. Katie for three. Finds a lot of iron and does not fall through. Rams now in transition as Katie boots that out of bounds.
So we saw Ellie Muller bring that ball up the floor just a few minutes ago, John, and I think what you're going to find fun in the boys' game as well, too, Joshua Charlton, maybe 6'6", very good ball handler for his size. Fun to watch.
A lot of good basketball still on tap here on this Friday night in Central Iowa. A little miscommunication on the back cut as Wilson kind of got her route shut down quickly, and so now we'll keep this game moving. I think it's a run clock at this point. And Sears will dribble into the front court, attack, bobbles, throws to the corner. Katie on the baseline cut, off the window, too strong. Strong board by Wilson, and now into the front court because comes Zudenhorst.
Great block. Just great timing, kept it in play, kept it alive.
Nice feed underneath. That's Rice for two more, the senior guard. She's up to 6 tonight. Ellie Muller with a game-high 19. Single-handedly has outscored Southeast Polk tonight.
I love the way she moves in the post, and she does just a little bit of everything. She rebounds, she blocks shots. She'll bring the ball up the floor right here. Good pass, outlet pass down the floor. And
does her best Patrick Mahomes to Travis Kelce impression. Just a little off the mark, though. She'll come away with the loose ball. This time feeds it to her sister underneath. Katie off the window. 2 more for her. She's up to 14.
I tell you what, Mizzou's getting a good one.
Yeah. She can do it all, and then as she kind of just continues to grow in her abilities and her strength, she's just going to become a force in the SEC. There's a beautiful three. This one from Elise Bartles. That freshman we were talking about earlier, seeing what she can learn in playing against someone like Ellie Muller. That's going to be a blocking foul on Bartles.
Again, and Southeast Polk has nothing to hang their head about. This is a great learning experience. You're playing one of the best teams in the state. And again, when I'm Brad Johnson and I go back to the drawing board and watch this tape, I would keep a watchful eye on Dowling and what they do to execute at a high level.
Team that no doubt will find their way to Wells Fargo, assuming no upsets in regionals, but don't write anybody off come regionals. Everyone makes it. And that'll put Ellie Muller up to 20 as she checks out for the final time tonight. Wholesale for Dowling Catholic as a handful of subs come in, and Katie Muller finishes with 14, Ellie Muller with 20. Big nights for them, 6 for Sears. So scoring again spread out nicely for this team. And
this is also an important time for Dowling subs too, right? Is that the coaches look at future talent and see what they have. So you want to make the most out of these minutes, even in a big scoring game.
Absolutely. Corner three. Again, just a hair off the mark. There's Love Smith on that attempt. Little press here, and Dowling handles the pressure nicely. 3 for Dowling, and that'll find nothing but twine. Gwen Holton, the sophomore, getting in the scoring mix, and you know that shot's pure when they're having to reset the net.
Wow, I don't even think she hit iron. Oofta.
Here's Ruddy down Broadway, lays it up with the left, does not go. Meredith with the rebound, fields it ahead to Nikki. Nikki can't quite get to it. She saved it, but everyone else was in tow, could not quite gather it. It'll be a turnover.
We talked about it earlier, John, but the state of girls basketball in Iowa is so healthy. it's just so fun to watch, right? And we have to be extra proud of our Central Iowa teams.
Ella Wheatley with the 3 there. Absolutely proud of the Central Iowa teams. And, yeah, you mentioned it. And Jenica Lewis comes to mind for Johnston. She's committed to Notre Dame. You look at the abundance of Division I talent that comes out of this state, not just in the big classes, but also some of those mid to small schools, too. Audie Crooks from Bishop Garrigan. You know, she's been having a career at Iowa State. It's just been one of those years.
So I looked at the rankings for girls. So we've got Johnston and Dowling, Ankeny, both in the top 5. We've got Valley and Northwest.
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost like...
it's pretty loaded. A couple of years ago, Waterloo West was definitely in that mix. They were a team to be that was a force over the years, but you know, you look at the run Johnston's had and the number of state championship appearances, and it is mind-boggling. As I'm going to try and find some scores from around the rest of the CIML really quick.
So, in your opinion, John, and maybe it's just a sheers number game with the Des Moines metro area, but is there a reason there would be stronger teams in Central Iowa as opposed to maybe Iowa City, Cedar Rapids, Davenport, and so on?
I think it's a numbers game for sure. I also think it's an accessibility game in a lot of ways, just the specialization training that these kids now go through. AAU ball, all Iowa attack out of Central Iowa is such a key program that so many of these kids will play through. You know, Caitlin Clark was an all-Iowa attack. They were winning Nike tournaments and things like that. And so, you know, there's pedigree here, and there's an abundance of just good basketball. And on top of that, they're at different schools. It's not like one school's loaded. You know, it's still competitive across the board.
You know, it's also exciting to see, just flipping over to the boys' side for a second, those dual sport athletes, right? So we've got, is it Mr. Jacobson at Waukee?
Yep, you've got Jacobson, who's planning to play basketball and football at Texas A&M. Tight end for the Warriors. And I watched him the other night against Valley, and he's a force to be reckoned with on both the football field and the basketball court. But they've got a lot of athletes over there at Waukee too. They've got you look at that team, football-wise, probably underperformed by Coach Baker's standpoint, but up and down the lineup, it's just been. Southeast Polk's another great example, not just being good at basketball, but wrestling is another sport that
huge,
and football obviously. But it seems like wrestling feeds football in a lot of ways, especially with the heavyweights and the O-line and what they do. So
it does. As we look around this gymnasium, you can see the banners of these top-ranked wrestling teams out of Southeast Polk and how they continue to produce high-level, even Division I athletes, right?
And a top team again this year in the wrestling mat. You'd expect Southeast Polk to win the state title if they're not at minimum contending for it. So, you know, it's one of those things where there's a lot of variation, a lot of multi-sport athletes, and I think most college coaches will tell you while specialization gets you some eyes, dual sport athletes, there's something about competing in not just sports you're good at, but learning to be a role person and playing your role on some of those sports that you might not be as high level in.
Amen to that. And, you know, it's really fun to watch the rise of these athletes as well, too. I think about Waukee Northwest.
Yep.
So they have a nice basketball team over there. You've got Mac Heitland.
Yep.
And I don't know if you had a chance to watch him last season. I actually caught the game out at Southeast Polk. I want to say, don't quote me on this, I think he finished with 30 touchdowns and 0 picks.
Yep.
Something to that effect.
Yeah, he was that good, and he was as billed. So he's top-end quarterback and just as talented as a basketball player. And so, yeah, a lot of talent around the state, a lot of talent on the court tonight. Here is Dowling Catholic, will top Southeast Polk in a big way as they get the win. Final thoughts tonight?
Yeah, this kind of went as expected for me. Number 2 Dowling comes in. They are a powerhouse. You've got a young Southeast Polk team. You've got the Muller sisters. So for Southeast Polk, it's kind of the perfect storm.
Yep.
You know what? But both teams should be proud of their efforts. Both teams can go back to the drawing board and learn something. Bring on the boys' game.
Well, it was a fun one. And again, another big night. Ellie Muller 20, Katie Muller 14, and Dowling Catholic with the 63-25 win here on the Central Iowa Sports Network. I'm John Schaefer. He's Ryan Hackey. We will be back for part 2 of tonight's broadcast in the doubleheader. We got the boys' side in just a bit. We'll preview it when we come back after a short break.
It's our Red Tag event, now to the end of December at DeArmond Chevy GMC Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Knoxville, Iowa. New Chevy Silverado 1500. Receive up to $11,000 off. New 2026 Chevy Equinox or Trailblazers. Receive 0% financing. New Ram 1500s up to $14,500 off. Plus 3.9% for 72 months. And new Grand Cherokees over $10,000 off. All at DeArmond Automotive in Knoxville, Iowa.
Joe here with Westside Auto Pros. I know that sometimes your car can be inconsiderate and need work when you're short on cash. So here's what I'll do. When you get your car fixed at Westside Auto Pros, I'll loan you the money to pay for it. Whatever you want done, repairs, services, tires, you name it. Get your car back on the road and you won't even pay any interest for 90 days. My wife thinks I'm nuts.
No interest, Joe? Are you nuts?
Get your car fixed now and pay later only at Westside Auto Pros. You don't suppose she's right?
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Cheaper, cleaner, and homegrown. Pump it up with unleaded 88.
Western lets your UTV power through the storm. The Impact V Plow and Impact Straight Blade, with the features the pros demand. Custom tailored for your UTV. And to keep your work top-notch, rely on the Tornado UTV Hopper Spreader. Now that's a job well done. Western, more jobs done faster.
Visit Truck Equipment Inc. today at truckequipmentinc.com.
Hi, this is Chris from Fireplace Superstore. And if your old fireplace isn't giving you everything you want, you need to come see us so we can show you Heat & Glow's industry-leading gas fireplace inserts. A Heat & Glow gas insert will convert your old wood burner into a high-efficient gas fireplace that's easy to use and will warm your house. Come see us soon and get on the schedule for this winter's installations. For the best selection of fireplaces in the state of Iowa, come see Fireplace Superstore, just west of Homeacres on Douglas Avenue.
Free Godfather's Pizza begins with the download. Order through my new online ordering app and start earning free pizza and sides. It's easy. Download the Godfather's Pizza online ordering app today. Do it.
Run, jump, lift, swim, compete, connect, breathe. Whatever your workout, you'll find it at the Y, plus a whole lot more. Right now, you can try the Y for free. Visit any branch or online at dmymca.org. One membership, endless opportunities. Your YMCA.
And we're back inside of the Southeast Polk Rams Gymnasium in Pleasant Hill, Southeast Polk High School. Happy to join you tonight once again on CISN. If you're just tuning in for the boys' side of things, I'm John Schaefer. He's Ryan Hackey. We've got another good one on tap. Dowling Catholic, number 3 in Class 4A boys basketball, 9-0 on the year. Trying to remain unbeaten, taking on a scrappy 5-5 Southeast Polk team. You look at the rankings right there, Cedar Falls at the top. I've seen Northwest play, top-end talent there. Ames had an upset earlier this week, I believe, or dating back to New Year's. And then Waukee, also a really good squad. Des Moines Roosevelt, my alma mater, happy to see him in the top 10. See if the Rough Riders can sustain that, but Good one on tap tonight. We'll start by talking about Dowling Catholic here. And just a mountain of a man in the middle. Charlie Crane didn't start every game this year because of an injury, but you saw him play.
I love Charlie. He's got such a good game. You're catching a clip here of Waukee or Northwest, I believe. Nope, that's Waukee. Charlie, 6'10", rangy, does a little bit of everything. He rebounds, he blocks shots, he goes hard to the bucket. This team has only gotten better with him in that lineup.
On the other side of things, Southeast Polk, they don't like to play slow basketball by any means, and it all starts with the pace of Joshua Charlton.
Joshua Charlton, he's a sophomore, kind of like Charlie Crane. He's going to handle the ball a little bit more out on the perimeter. You're going to see him bring it up the floor. Paul and I talked, where did this guy come from? He's really stepped up and become that leader as a sophomore for Southeast Polk. But I think what you're going to like in the crowd watching the broadcast tonight are going to like is his range and his length. He's one of these guys that you think you've got him beat, you think you're step for step with him, and all of a sudden he's up and under and he's making a layup on you.
Two very different teams in the sense Dowling doesn't dip too deep into their bench. Southeast Polk can run 12 guys out on the floor if they have to.
Well, I think a couple players that are certainly critical to this game tonight are these guards. So we've talked about the rangy forward center types. Let's talk for a second about the guards. So you got Noah Martins. He is going to feed Charlie quite a bit, but again, he is the leading scorer as a guard, as a perimeter shooter. 14 a game, and then on the flip side, you got Manny TT. We talked about him earlier. He was a defensive back on the football team at Southeast Polk here. When he gets that outlet pass, he's going to push. You watch. And he gets to that basket by himself lightning quick.
Looking forward to a good one here inside of the Southeast Polk Gymnasium. We'll take one more step away from the action here, get you starting lineups when we come back on the Central Iowa Sports Network.
It's our Red Tag event, now to the end of December at DeArmond Chevy GMC Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Knoxville, Iowa. New Chevy Silverado 1500. Receive up to $11,000 off. New 2026 Chevy Equinox or Trailblazers. Receive 0% financing. New Ram 1500s up to $14,500 off. Plus 3.9% for 72 months. And new Grand Cherokees over $10,000 off. All at DeArmond Automotive in Knoxville, Iowa.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Cheaper, cleaner, and homegrown. Pump it up with unleaded 88.
Western lets your UTV power through the storm. The Impact V Plow and Impact Straight Blade, with the features the pros demand. Custom tailored for your UTV. And to keep your work top-notch, rely on the Tornado UTV Hopper Spreader. Now that's a job well done. Western, more jobs done faster.
Visit Truck Equipment Inc. today at truckequipmentinc.com.
Hi, this is Chris from Fireplace Superstore. And if your old fireplace isn't giving you everything you want, you need to come see us so we can show you Heat & Glow's industry-leading gas fireplace inserts. A Heat & Glow gas insert will convert your old wood burner into a high-efficient gas fireplace that's easy to use and will warm your house. Come see us soon and get on the schedule for this winter's installations. For the best selection of fireplaces in the state of Iowa, come see Fireplace Superstore, just west of Homeacres on Douglas Avenue.
Iowans are working hard, but high prices make it even harder to keep food on the table. Record numbers need help. Your neighbors, your friends, your community. Stopping hunger starts here.
Ever have one of those awkward moments when a business disappointed you? You got ripped off? Didn't get what you expected? The Better Business Bureau can help you avoid these uncomfortable situations. BBB accredited businesses are honest, ethical, and reviewed annually by the BBB. Don't experience another awkward moment with a bad business. Trust the ones that operate with integrity. Look for the BBB seal. It's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Thank you for tuning into today's broadcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our live events. You can also follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram in the description below for more coverage of Central Iowa high school sports and the Des Moines Menace. Now, back to the game.
And we're back here inside of Southeast Polk High School's gymnasium, getting you ready for game number 2 of the doubleheader, boys action in Class 4A. Let's also talk about head coach David Stubbs for Southeast Polk. Comes from Grandview Christian, won a couple of state titles there, was known for the high-flying pace of 1A, 2A basketball that he had created there. Obviously brought in a lot of talent. Do you see any of that translating here at Southeast Polk?
We will. We'll see some of those characteristics of those high-flying Grandview Christian teams. Again, I mentioned this a little earlier in the girls' broadcast, John. Culture is the word that screams Southeast Polk to me. I watched this team a couple years ago. They look nothing like they do now, and I expect a competitive game.
Getting ready for starters here. We'll pass it over to our public address announcer for tonight's evening, starting 5 on both sides.
Our 3 officials for tonight's basketball game include Richard Suka, Michael Johnson, and T.J. Augustine. Our guest this evening from Des Moines Catholic. Let's meet the starting 5 for our visitors, the Maroons. Wearing number 0, he is a 6'8" junior, Alfred Coley. A 6'1" senior, wearing number 22, Nathan Jenkins. Wearing number 10 and standing 6'10", a senior, Charlie Craig. A 6-foot senior, wearing number 11, Noah Martin. And a 6'2" senior, number 13, Maddox Capola.
And we'll step away here for the national anthem on CISN.
Joe here with Westside Auto Pros. I know that sometimes your car can be inconsiderate and need work when you're short on cash. So here's what I'll do. When you get your car fixed at Westside Auto Pros, I'll loan you the money to pay for it. Whatever you want done, repairs, services, tires, you name it. Get your car back on the road and you won't even pay any interest for 90 days. My wife thinks I'm nuts.
No interest, Joe? Are you nuts?
Get your car fixed now and pay later only at Westside Auto Pros. You don't suppose she's right?
Thank you for tuning into today's broadcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our live events. You can also follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram in the description below for more coverage of Central Iowa high school sports and the Des Moines Menace. Now, back to the game.
And we're back inside of Southeast Polk High School, getting you ready for tip-off here in the boys' side of tonight's action. Looking forward to a good one. Again, number 3 Dowling, unbeaten this season. Coming hot off wins over Kemper, Xavier, and Roosevelt. Southeast Polk 5-5 on the year.
I was going to add, John, kind of the keys to victory. I was looking at my notes. Are similar boys game, girls game, is that Dowling will stick to their template. Obviously, what they're doing is working when you're 10-0, right? And then Southeast Polk has to get out to a fast start.
Coley wins the tip-off, and you'll hear us reference Southeast Polk's number 13 as Big E this evening. Ehekame Taller is his name. I hope I didn't butcher it too badly.
Valid attempt.
We'll give it a go there, but we're going to go by Big E tonight just for the sake of his pronunciation. And that's what he goes by in the starting lineups too. And there's the start though at the far end. Charlie Crane inflicting his size right away.
Yes, right away, and probably what I would expect from Charlie. Newsflash, he's good.
Big E with it there at the wing. Looking for some space to move. He's up against Charlie. Fall away Jay. That'll get a nice little touch roll. Falls through for 2, and back and forth affair has begun.
Well done, Big E. Stepped back and went down.
The kick out to Martins. Martins works it to Coley. Martins now with the 3. That'll rattle down and out. Rebound going back Southeast Polk's way. Joshua Charlton will hand it off here. This is Max Johnson, the sophomore. Charlton kisses down low to Big E. Big E backing down the defenders, up and in, and one. The old-fashioned 3-point play on the way for Big E.
And you look at that body on Big E, and I do remember, I believe, from the Southeast Folk football team, really strong lower body, good upper body as well, too. He posted up, pushed around, and got a 2 with a chance for 3.
Foul on Crane, his first of the night, team's first of the quarter. Remember, 5 fouls in a quarter before they go to the double bonus, and Big E converts. He's up to all 5 points to start this game. Old-fashioned 3-point play. Dowling Catholic going to try and create some life here. 5-2 run to start things off for the Rams. It's Martins. Passes it off to Coley, back to Martins. Martins drives, kicks, corner 3. That'll cash in. Nathan Jenkins, the senior.
Yes, well done. Drive and dish. Drew that defender in, and an easy 3 for his teammate.
This game had the potential to go one of 2 ways. A back and forth battle or just a blowout one way or the other, but we're going to get another foul. This one once again on Charlie Crane, his second early, and that's going to be a spot of contention for Justin Einerson.
This would be huge tonight if SCP got off a little skid that they're on right now. Lost a couple games in a row. Ones that they probably should have won. They had a nice win at Ankeny right before Christmas break, so no time better than at home to get off the snide a little bit.
Handed off to Braunschweig Norris. He'll kick it to the corner. Worked back into Big E. Fall away jumper does not go. Rebound back Dowling Catholic's way. It's Martins. Feed it over. 3 in transition. That'll flush through. Giovanni Quillis with the 3. Came in off the bench. Charlie Crane had to grab a seat with 2 fouls.
Yeah, and that's not Giovanni's MO. He's a 9 rebounds a game guy. Great move by Charlton. That's what he does. Uses that length and range to get himself shots.
Josh Charlton, the acrobatic finish high off the window. He flashes the speed, his first duo of the night. That ball hacked away, but right to the hands, and a easy floater at the rim for Jenkins. Couple more hit there for the senior. Tipped away, hustle play, nicely done by Martins. Martins now trying to cash it in. Does not go. Rebound Southeast Polk's way, but hacked away and a little bit of sloppy play. Martins drives, kicks back out. Hesitation 3, the dribble, and that'll fall through. Capola.
Coach Stubbs pacing up and down the sideline. I don't think he's going to pull a timeout at the moment, but certainly probably crossed his mind.
3 threes to open this game for Dowling. Has a 6-point lead.
You know, unless I missed it, John, Emmanuel Titi, did he not start this ball game?
He did not.
Okay.
Charlton, floater. No, Big E there to clean up the garbage. And the rebound goes right back for the tip-in. 2 more for Big E. 7 of his team's 9. Listed typically as a sub for this team, but got the start. Kick to the corner. 3 again for Dowling. Why not? Jenkins, another.
I think that early shooting percentage for Dowling's got to be off the charts. Haven't seen him miss yet.
Much,
no.
Just a couple maybe. Lead stays at 6. Ball will hop out of bounds. Go back Dowling Catholic's way.
I love the way Big E's using that body, though. He's in there. He's certainly bigger than maybe some of the leaner Dowling players, and so that could make a difference tonight, banging guys around.
Martins will feed it off. Coley tried to dish it around. We're going to get a foul on the floor. It's going to be on Thomas Childs, his first, team's first.
And here comes Manny John.
Manny TT checking in, as does Henry Gaffney, senior. Both TT and Gaffney seniors. Again, a few more seniors here on the varsity roster for the boys team for Southeast Polk. Not a ton. A good blend, but Coach Stubbs has the combination he's looking for.
Yeah, I can't reiterate enough how much Coach Stubbs has really done with this team year over year. Again, 5-5 right after Christmas isn't a terrible place to be in as you make a run towards the tournament.
Well, and again, everyone makes the playoffs. It's all about finding a rhythm now and just kind of getting into your groove, especially before district play and then running from there.
And it wouldn't hurt knocking off number 2 to get it going, would it?
TT dribbling into the front court. Dowling Catholic has been strong so far, but Southeast Polk keeping pace. Big E thinks about the 3. He says, why not? Nothing but net. Stretching the twine.
Ice in the veins. I would expect Brunswick Norris to do that, but Big E pulling a 3 for us.
Hounded on defense is Martins. Martins finds a corner to kick it. Nearly gets away there from Quiles. Now a 3 at the other end, does not go for Coley. Rebounded by Southeast Polk. You hear the student section for the Rams coming to life. Charlton drives down Broadway to the rack. And a lay-in.
That was 2 steps from the 3-point line to the bucket. Again, that length is useful.
He's been smooth thus far. They're going to call a push on Emmanuel Titi.
Manny does that well. He's certainly a thief. Quick hands, quick feet, so watch for some of that tonight.
One more look at it. Dowling inbound, up 1. It's been a good answer from the Rams. Dowling came out firing on all cylinders. Should mention Crane checks back in. We're going to get a walk at the top of the arc by Quiles.
You had mentioned Big E, John, being a off-the-bench guy earlier this year. Again, I think there's something there as far as Southeast Polk making a run in the second half, and a lot of this going through Big E and leveraging him more.
He's got 10 already. 10 of his team's 14. They'll feed him back inside. Spin move, fall away. No. Rebound, Dowling. It's Jenkins in transition now. Up ahead. Quiles. Back to Jenkins. He'll work it around the horn. Coley hands it off. Open three for Quiles. Rattles off the rim. Tip back doesn't go. Hustle play by TT. He'll funnel it ahead. What a feed from his backside. Feeds Braunschweig Norris, and the lay-in Rams take a 1-point lead.
That was a strike from a sitting position. Unbelievable.
The answer at the other end, yes. A three for Martins. He's on the board. This game has found plenty of life. 2-point game. Dowling leads. 45 seconds to play in the first quarter. TT will draw a foul. This one goes against Martins, his first, team's third. Charlie Crane in there operating with 2 fouls already.
And I'm pretty certain Coach Stubbs and Southeast Polk know that, and I would expect them to take it towards Charlie, get that third.
Handoff back to TT. Emmanuel TT off the dribble. Looking, probing, drives down Broadway off the mark. Rebound goes to Crane. And Dowling with a chance at the last shot of the first quarter. Shot clock's off. It's Martins. Not getting much room to work. Emmanuel TT on defense. Martins, no. Coley tried to throw it back in, does not go. And in a lively first quarter of action sees the Dowling Catholic Maroons up to 18-16 for the unbeaten Dowling Catholic squad. Southeast Polk right there with them. We'll be right back after the break with quarter number 2 on the Central Iowa Sports Network.
Joe here with Westside Auto Pros. I know that sometimes your car can be inconsiderate and need work when you're short on cash. So here's what I'll do. When you get your car fixed at Westside Auto Pros, I'll loan you the money to pay for it. Whatever you want done, repairs, services, tires, you name it. Get your car back on the road and you won't even pay any interest for 90 days. My wife thinks I'm nuts.
No interest, Joe? Are you nuts?
Get your car fixed now and pay later only at Westside Auto Pros. You don't suppose she's right?
Thank you for tuning into today's broadcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our live events. You can also follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram in the description below for more coverage of Central Iowa high school sports and the Des Moines Menace. Now, back to the game.
We're back for quarter number 2. Dowling Catholic up 2 with possession. They'll work it around the horn. Coley for 3. Nothing but nets.
I believe Coach Stubbs has got to be very happy with how they finished at least that first quarter in Southeast Polk, keeping this thing close and tight, and actually a little bit of momentum going into the second quarter.
Drive down Broadway, swatted at the rim, but put back by Big E. And he picks up where he left off. Dowling Catholic, though, coming out with drawing up that nice three-point play. Coley had all day to look and cashed it in, and Maroons still sit up 3. Hand it off to Martins. They're going to go inside to Coley. He's double-teamed. Swatted away as he was looking for a pass. Saved at half court. Big E comes up with it. Outlets it ahead to TT. TT in traffic. Turns it over. Martin's going to dribble through and has numbers the other way. Open 3 for Quiles. Quiles, yes!
Boy, I like that rotation. Quiles has hit a couple tonight, and When he gets planted and gets an open look, boy, it looks good from the get-go.
Sorry, it's Keyless. I'll try and get that right. Giovanni Keyless. We're going to reach in.
Here's what I'm saying with Manny TT, John. I've seen this a lot in some of these games. He's just got that extra gear to get to the basket. Loves to get to the free throw line. We'll see this more. He missed a little bit of the first quarter, but I would expect him to break out here the rest of the game.
Quick sub out for Jenkins. Childs checks in for the Rams as well. Inbounds play goes to him. Childs will pass it off to Gaffney. Back to Childs. That one will find the hands of Charlton. Crossover. In amongst the trees. Throws it off the window. No, but putback doesn't go. And now in transition, here come the Maroons once again, trying to build on the 6-point lead. Keyless. Kicks out to Coley. Coley for three. Why not? Another triple for Alfred Coley.
Pretty shot. You know, in this last possession, I kind of was watching Charlie Green's body language. Not really attacking himself or getting to the basket. I think he's thoughtful of those 2 fouls. So we'll see how that plays out.
TT on the dribble. Using the screen. Good switch by Dowling. Broken it. Charlton drives baseline. Got stuck. Able to get rid of it. Big E for three. Rolls every touch of the rim. That'll stay with Dowling. They'll say it went off Crane. Or I'm sorry, that stays with Southeast Polk. It goes off Crane. GT to inbound. Goes to the corner. Three. Foul on the play. Childs will head to the line to shoot three.
Shooting three.
Keyless, his first. Team's second.
Kind of like we said in the girls' game earlier here, John, it's kind of a critical time for Southeast Polk because they're starting to stretch this out just a little bit. Couple possessions up in town, and Southeast Polk hasn't converted, so be watchful of Dowling getting some momentum here.
Childs misses the first, does make the second. Third, waved off. They're going to call a lane violation. Didn't go anyway, so Childs goes 1 for 3 from the charity stripe.
He's out of the game right now, but Brownsway Norris, again, his a little bit of lack of production here early. He's a three-point marksman, and they just haven't got him involved.
Swatted. Crane went to the rim. Outlet ahead to TT. TT will hand it off. Charlton. Off the dribble. Spin cycle engaged. Lays it up and in off the window. You talked about his speed in the pregame. There it is on full display.
Up and under. Using that length, using that speed. That's tough to stop.
Skip pass all the way. Keyless corrals. It's Capola. Feeds to Coley. Now around to Martins. Martins inside. Kick back out. Three for Dowling. Off the mark, rebound, Keyless bats it away. Another look, here's Capola down the lane. Back iron, no. Coley corrals, puts it up, he'll shoot two.
That kind of looked like defensive pass interference in football here. He hooked him and somehow got it up, but.
Foul on Childs. Coley will shoot two. Flushes the first. And gets the second to slide in. Lead swells back to 8. Little 1-2-2 full court here for Dowling. TT looking to break it past Charlton. Charlton nearly bottled up. Nice job breaking it. Corner. Taken away though. Stolen by Jenkins. And another turnover for the Rams. Now Dowling trying to cash in on it. Jenkins with it. Goes to Coley. Coley will pass it off. Ralston. Ralston. The pump to the corner. Mid-range Jay. High off the glass and in for Capola. Gets the friendly roll in hostile territory.
Yeah, so Dowling stays in this press. And, you know, the way to break that is have a cutter to the middle. And we have a turnover. No cutter to the middle, and they kind of work the wings.
Timeout called by Dowling. It'll be a 30-second timeout. And right now, Dowling's starting to impose their will a little bit.
Imposing their will. We're up to 10. About 3.5 minutes or plus left in the second quarter. And kind of like the girls' game, you got to keep it close. Otherwise, good teams like Dowling will compound that score on you.
So we looked at the final 3:42. Possession arrow pointing Dowling's way. I'm sorry, Southeast Polk's way. Dowling will have the ball, though, on the inbounds. There's a heady timeout as well, I should mention, by Justin Einerson. Really good job getting that call in.
Yeah, great job getting that ball in. And also keep a close eye the remainder of this second quarter on Charlie Crane. He's got those 2 fouls, right? He seems like he's been a little bit more passive on offense and defense just to avoid getting that third going into halftime.
A little bit more size for Southeast Polk as well tonight. It'll be Jenkins taking it to the front court. Will pass it off to Crane. Jenkins takes it right to the rack, up and under. He goes for a couple more.
Pretty reverse layup there. Sticking with that passive full court press. Got to get it across.
TT will work it to the corner. Hesitation by Johnson. He'll take it in. They're going to call a foul on the floor. This will go against Ralston. His first, team's third. They'll funnel it into Big E. Johnson now. Back to Big E. Crosses over, goes off of Crane's foot. Inadvertent, they say. Johnson going to drive, takes it to the window. Cannot get it to go. Crane comes away with it. Here's Jenkins now in transition. Back to Crane for 3. Nothing but net for the big man.
Charlie says, I can't commit a foul about 31 feet out, can I? So I'll stick out there.
And that one will stick with you as a defender as Southeast Polk tries to get something going in transition. Charlton nearly had it go for him, just could not get that friendly roll. Now here's Dowling, another long-range triple, can't go. Jenkins came up the rebound to kick. Nifty drive down Broadway, does not finish for Capola. And now here's Charlton. A lot of speed, back out to Charlton. He'll settle things down a little bit. Double team, feeds it into Big E. The kick back out, Johnson for 3. Short. Rebound to Ralston. Ralston has numbers if he wants it. He'll settle the pace a bit. Goes down underneath. That's swatted away. Big block at the other end. That was Braunschweig Norris.
Charlie looks like he wanted one. He looked at the ref and said, come on now. Help me out here.
Manuel TT. Minute 40 to play in the first half. Southeast Polk has to try and stop some of this bleeding. They're down 15.
You know, one thing I've noticed, John, as opposed to Dowling, I don't think Southeast Polk has a lot of threes tonight at this point, do they?
They do not. They haven't. They've taken a couple, but they haven't cashed in on any of them. Shot clock violation. Good defense from Dowling. They're just not giving Southeast Polk much room to breathe.
Smart play taking Crane off the floor with 1:18 left. You don't need to get a silly one, before half.
Minute 15, just under. Martins will funnel it to the corner. Once again, it's Keyless. Back out to Coley. Coley hands off. Martins for three. Too strong. Coley with the rebound. They're going to call one on the ground. Johnson took a Coley elbow to the back of the head on his way down. They're going to call Johnson on the push.
You know, when I see Coley and Charlton down in the lane, it's like the guys are looking in the mirrors at each other. About the same size, same body, you know, good athletes. And so that's kind of a fun matchup to watch down there.
Coley's corralled quite a few rebounds so far already. The inbounds played just does not quite go Dowling's way. A little bit of miscommunication there as Jenkins, I think, was breaking in and the passer thought he was breaking out.
Zigged when he zagged. Is that how it goes?
Exactly. In case anyone's keeping up on semifinal action, Indiana all over Oregon tonight, college football.
Does that surprise you?
A little bit. I did not expect this. Meanwhile, back here, 15-point game, under 40 seconds to play. Dowling, about 10-second difference, 9-second difference between shot clock and game clock. It's Martins to the corner, nice feed underneath. Good hesitation by Capola. He'll kick it back out. Martins, extra pass to Keyless. Keyless, jumper. That'll rattle home. Two more as the lead is up to 17. Southeast Polk has 15 seconds to answer.
I think the common thread between Dowling boys and girls is just that discipline. The way they move the ball, the way they cut to the basket, the way they play as a team, that's effective.
Not forcing bad shots is so big. Charlton takes it to the rack. He'll get the nice roll at the window as the horn sounds, and there's a bright spot to finish the half off with for Southeast Polk. They trail by 15. Quick final thought as we go to the break.
Yeah, like we said, fast starts and momentum are really critical in this game. As Coach Stubbs takes Southeast Polk back to the locker room, the third quarter, stay tuned, folks, is going to be critical because they're going to have to get this one close to even have a shot in the fourth quarter.
Well, an exciting first half. Plenty of scoring to go on here on CISN. It's Dowling Catholic ahead of Southeast Polk 38-23 as we will take a short commercial break.
It's the end-of-year sales event at DeArmond Ford Indianola. New 2025 Escape, Explorer, F-150, Super Duty, Mach-E, and Lightning. 0 down, 0% financing, 0 payments for 90 days. Plus $1,000 mega cash. New F-150 Super Crew 4-wheel drive up to $15,000 off or 0% for 60 months. It's the end-of-year sales event going on now at DeArmond Ford Indianola.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Cheaper, cleaner, and homegrown. Pump it up with unleaded 88.
Western lets your UTV power through the storm. The Impact V Plow and Impact Straight Blade. With the features the pros demand. Custom tailored for your UTV. And to keep your work top-notch, rely on the Tornado UTV Hopper Spreader. Now that's a job well done. Western, more jobs done faster.
Visit Truck Equipment Inc. today at truckequipmentinc.com.
Hi, this is Chris from Fireplace Superstore. And if your old fireplace isn't giving you everything you want, you need to come see us so we can show you Heat & Glow's industry-leading gas fireplace inserts. A Heat & Glow gas insert will convert your old wood burner into a high-efficient gas fireplace that's easy to use and will warm your house. Come see us soon and get on the schedule for this winter's installations. For the best selection of fireplaces in the state of Iowa, come see Fireplace Superstore, just west of Homeacres on Douglas Avenue.
What if you could make a priceless difference in your community for as little as $5? With the Des Moines Catholic Worker House, you can. For nearly 50 years, the Des Moines Catholic Worker House has given the homeless and low-income community a place to feel welcomed. With your support, we could turn 3,000 free meals each month into 4,000. we could build a brand new warming and cooling center in our future facility. We could provide more hygiene products, more clothing, and more hope to those who need it most. Feed the hungry, clothe a neighbor, and spread your generosity throughout Des Moines by scanning the QR code on the screen right now. Donate online via PayPal or mail a check to make a priceless difference in your community today. Thank you so much for your support.
We're back inside of the Southeast Polk Gymnasium, getting some three-point shooting contests going on. A game of knockout, it looks like, on the court. And right now, Dowling Catholic just waiting to land the knockout blow against Southeast Polk in quarter number 3. They're up 15 at half. Ryan Hackey with John Schaefer here on the call tonight. And certainly it's been the Big East show for Southeast Polk, but they've got to find an answer for the widespread scoring that Dowling Catholic's shown.
Absolutely. And, you know, one big word that I think should be used more often in basketball is composure.
Yeah.
Right? So when Southeast Polk would make a run and keep it close, Dowling kept their head about them, executed the offense, found the cutters, hit an open three. Southeast Polk on the flip side, as Dowling kind of accumulated that score on them, took some wild shots, took some bad shots. Therefore, you're in a little bit of hole going into the second half.
And that's where we find ourselves in a 38-23 hole. And again, you look at up and down. If you're Southeast Polk, if you're going to answer, efficiency is key number one, but you've also got to get stops at the defensive end. And what I've seen defensively, some missed assignments, some getting lost maybe on the defensive end, allowing some open threes in transition.
So to get back in this thing, I've been told the best way to eat an elephant is one bite at a time, right?
Yep.
So in the third quarter, chip away, high percentage shots. I would say a really fair number, or good number, is get this game within 5 points going into that fourth quarter, and then go pound for pound, blow for blow with Dowling and see if you can knock number 2 off.
Easier said than done most nights, correct? Well, we'll see what shakes out here in quarter number 3 once again. On Central Iowa Sports Network, it's Dowling Catholic up 38-23 here at halftime.
It's our Red Tag event, now to the end of December at DeArmond Chevy GMC Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Knoxville, Iowa. New Chevy Silverado 1500. Receive up to $11,000 off. New 2026 Chevy Equinox or Trailblazers. Receive 0% financing. New Ram 1500s up to $14,500 off. Plus 3.9% for 72 months. And new Grand Cherokees over $10,000 off. All at DeArmond Automotive in Knoxville, Iowa.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Cheaper, cleaner, and homegrown. Pump it up with unleaded 88.
Western lets your UTV power through the storm. The Impact V Plow and Impact Straight Blade, with the features the pros demand. Custom tailored for your UTV. And to keep your work top-notch, rely on the Tornado UTV Hopper Spreader. Now that's a job well done. Western, more jobs done faster.
Visit Truck Equipment Inc. today at truckequipmentinc.com.
Hi, this is Chris from Fireplace Superstore. And if your old fireplace isn't giving you everything you want, you need to come see us so we can show you Heat & Glow's industry-leading gas fireplace inserts. A Heat & Glow gas insert will convert your old wood burner into a high-efficient gas fireplace that's easy to use and will warm your house. Come see us soon and get on the schedule for this winter's installations. For the best selection of fireplaces in the state of Iowa, come see Fireplace Superstore, just west of Homeacres on Douglas Avenue.
Iowans are working hard, but high prices make it even harder to keep food on the table. Record numbers need help. Your neighbors, your friends, your community. Stopping hunger starts here.
Ever have one of those awkward moments when a business disappointed you? You got ripped off? Didn't get what you expected? The Better Business Bureau can help you avoid these uncomfortable situations. BBB accredited businesses are honest, ethical, and reviewed annually by the BBB. Don't experience another awkward moment with a bad business. Trust the ones that operate with integrity. Look for the BBB seal. It's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Thank you for tuning into today's broadcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our live events. You can also follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram in the description below for more coverage of Central Iowa high school sports and the Des Moines Menace. Now, back to the game.
About a minute and a half left in the halftime warm-ups as teams get back in rhythm as we start quarter number 3 in just a moment. If you're looking at each bench, who's a player that can impose their will on the rest of this game, and on Dowling's side, maybe keep this lead building or at least keep it intact?
You know, it's a great question. As I'm looking at these rosters, you know, one of the things I think both coaches were looking at too is combination of players.
Yep.
You know, where do we make our runs? Who do we have in the game? Big E certainly, I think, has to be in this game more. He's a presence on the inside. He's even hit a few buckets from the outside. And then when I look at Dowling, the natural thought is Crane, but I'm going to defer to Alfred Coley. Yep. That guy's done a little bit of everything tonight, from rebounding to loose balls to buckets to free throws. So again, those two are impact players in the second half.
Dowling's big man in Alfred Coley, 2 threes tonight. He's done it more from outside the arc than inside of it. But I think, again, they've been really spread out. Noah Martins has done a great job running the point.
He has.
And I think, you know, Nathan Jenkins has been in there too. This is what you get when you have a lot of seniors in your lineup. And it's just experiencing, as you kind of pointed out, that poise you expect when you take a body blow or two.
Well, I think you're exactly right, John. And there's something to be said about experience. That means you've been there and done that. You've been in situational play. So, again, that's showing a little bit with Dowling tonight as well.
Getting ready for the first pass in for quarter number 3. Southeast Polk gets the ball. And we will get ready for quarter 3. Once again, John Schaefer with you. Ryan Hackey, our color commentator tonight. Big shout out to our entire crew for tonight's wonderful broadcast of the doubleheader. Happy to bring it to you here on the Central Iowa Sports Network. And right on cue, there's Big E just off the back iron. Alfred Coley with the rebound. Into the front court comes Martins. Martins ahead. Back to Martins. Coley looking for somewhere to go with it. It's Jenkins now probing. We'll reset.
I would expect Crane to be a little more aggressive in that paint the second half. 2 fouls, right, and a little nervous finishing up the second quarter.
Capola hit the hezzy, nearly got it to go, but then in the transition bucket at the other end, Braunschweig Norris.
That's a guy that needs to show up. We talked about Grady here. Certainly a great outside shooter, and they're going to need those threes to compete here in the second half.
That's just a long 2 from Crane. Does not go. Batted out and coming back the other way. Braunschweig Norris for 3. Front iron, no. That'll drift out of bounds and head back Dowling's way. Braunschweig Norris had that nice little 2 lay-in on transition to get us rolling, and again, just good awareness to get out in front of the play.
Yeah, he wants to see that long ball go down, so I'm sure he will pop throughout the rest of this game.
Dowling Catholic now looking for their first points of the third quarter. 3. Does not go out of the hands of Martins. He gets his own rebound, though. Double teamed in the corner. Finds an outlet Coley. They'll work it around the horn. Long 3. No, Coley rebound up off the window. Rattles around. Does not go. Going to get a foul on Southeast Polk.
And that's the stuff that just doesn't show up in the stat box, John. Those loose rebounds, those second chance opportunities, getting to the free throw line. I think we found our right guy for our second half player to focus on, right, Coley?
Coley gets his first shot up and goes. That foul does go against Big E. Ehekame Taller is his official listing. Again, that's my best presentation of his name. They go by Big E, though, and what a drive down the lane. Josh Charlton just does it so crisp and clean.
He does, and I would expect him to take a bigger role, especially with the team down in the second half here.
The three at the other end, guess who?
Pete Coley.
Coley up to 4 in this quarter. Big E in traffic gets doubled. They're going to call a jump ball as Crane got his hands wrapped around it. Possession will go back to the Maroons.
You know, that's so impressive with Mr. Coley, that inside-outside prowess, right? You know, big, long guy and still hitting those threes. Impressive.
I apologize. Coley went 2 for 2 at the line, so he's actually up to 5 here in the third quarter as Dowling plays with even more pace. Coley for 3, why not? The heat check comes up a little short. Can't blame the man, though, as we're going to get a reach-in foul. That's going to go against Martins. Martins getting his second. First team foul of the third.
So looking around the CIML in the boys game, John, I don't know if you've seen some other teams, but any stand out to you to make a little run with Dowling towards the state tourney?
Watched Waukee the other night as we get another foul. This one coming against Nathan Jenkins, his first, team second. I caught Waukee the other night. Waukee Northwest Johnston was a really fun game earlier this season. Waukee Northwest, a really good team. You know, it's just, it is so, there's a lot of parity in the CIML.
Yes.
So it makes it entertaining. As Southeast Polk tries to keep this one within reach. Max Johnson goes off the window, draws contact. And so he will shoot 2. And Noah Martins, his third. So now some foul trouble there for Martins. Team's third. Max Johnson going to go back to the charity stripe. Still looking for his first points of the evening and a chance to cut this lead down to 14.
Yeah, as we look into postseason here, you know, you would have to think there's only so many berths in the state tournament. Some of these teams are going to run into each other in some really big games, so it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, district play is always fun as these two as teams, you know, you always look for those matchups, but I think they've done a good job with the rankings nowadays to really ensure that it's a pretty level district across district. You know, they try to avoid those top 10 matchups in a district final. Johnson gets the second to go. Sometimes it's unavoidable. Nothing more frustrating at times over those years where you'd get 2 of the top 5 teams in the state having to play for a trip to Wells Fargo when it very well could have been a state finals game. That ball's going to go back Southeast Polk's way as good defense. The drive down the lane just got hacked out of the hand of Capola. He boots it. Southeast Polk now batting down the hatches a bit, seeing if they can continue to whittle away.
Yeah, it's kind of go time. They need to make a run here to get back in this thing, and I would start with the man with the ball in his hand, Charlton, and then Grady getting free on some threes. Uh-oh, look out,
Norris,
folks.
and here comes the attempted dunk.
Oh!
Gets hacked out of the hands of Charlie Crane.
I saw half of the Dowling crowd get to their feet real quick, wanting one to go down. Shucks,
I think Charlie wanted it to be there too. That foul's going to go. Bronzeway Norris, his first, team second.
You know, I'm a little surprised, and I'm not for sure what's going on with Manny TT. Again, he's kind of a spark plug for this team, especially that with that speed on both the offense and defensive side of the ball. Just not quite for sure Manny's not getting some minutes today.
Could just be a matchup thing. You never know.
Yep.
Coaches always have a decent reason for it. Keyless for 3. He picks up where he left off in the first half. A triple for the senior in the corner.
Yeah, we quickly got to about 20, and again, Southeast Polk needs to make a run and fast here.
A little bit of a danger zone here for Dowling Catholic. Coley picks up his second. That's less dangerous in the fact they've got 4 team fouls. Next one sends Southeast Polk to the line shooting 2 regardless.
I just think that's a sign of a good team, though, when some of your star players are maybe in foul trouble or just having an off night. You've got the balance within your roster to pick your team up.
Crossover. Charlton rolls around the rim. Good board by TT. He'll attack the big, goes off the window. That gets swatted away. Charlie Crane says, "This ain't my house, but I don't want to see it there."
Charlie's been waiting for that, and he timed it perfectly.
Crane's block. 28 still on the shot clock for Southeast Polk. Big E inbound. And out to Charlton, and he's going to try and attack the big. Gets a pick. Dowling switches. Charlton fakes the spin. Little step through, doesn't go. Board back to Crane. Crane harassed. Gets a pass over. It's going to be Ralston right now. He'll throw the skip to Keelis. Keelis maybe thought about the next 3 that he was going to try and can. That goes off the hands of Crane. He's in disbelief. Southeast Polk's ball.
You are correct. Charlie's in disbelief, and I'm not sure I don't agree with him.
No less. We play on. 18-point game. Dowling Catholic hasn't had to do a ton of scoring in this quarter. It's come from 2 sources as there's a nice drive. Does not go, though, and here comes Dowling with numbers one more time. The 3. Off front iron. Coley doesn't get away with it. Instead, it's Charlton. He goes ahead to TT. TT can't get the layup to go. Charlton going to put it right back up and in. Strong move from Charlton.
That's what he does. Just body control, perfect and everything. Got the rebound from Manny's missed layup and converted.
Full timeout. Dowling lead is at 16, and we will head to break on the Central Iowa Sports Network.
Iowans are working hard, but high prices make it even harder to keep food on the table. Record numbers need help. Your neighbors, your friends, your community. Stopping hunger starts here.
Thank you for tuning into today's broadcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our live events. You can also follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram in the description below for more coverage of Central Iowa high school sports and the Des Moines Menace. Now, back to the game.
Justin Einerson wanting to get some things corrected on the Dowling bench over there. Meanwhile, Southeast Polk just trying to find some life. Coach David Stubbs dialing up some much needed energy in that huddle.
You look at Dowling, and I think a little bit happened in the girls' game as well, too. A very well-disciplined team can frustrate the heck out of you. And both girls and guys teams from Dowling are doing that. They're finding the cutter, they're making the passes, they're playing the defense, they're just doing everything right.
Dowling's got a good mix of finesse and length. Big pick, feeds off to Coley. That sails out of bounds off the tip. Nice little pick and roll Martins and Coley had drawn up there. Good defensive response, though, from the Rams. They don't fall for it. It'll be an inbound by Martins.
You know, you watch these offensive sets, John, from Dowling, and they're so intentional. You know, every guy's moving. There's a method to the madness. They're going to the basket. They're either setting up on the perimeter, whether it's the baseline or up top. And everybody's got their spots, and it usually converts into a pretty easy bucket.
Keelis to inbound. Back to Keelis for 3, quick release. A little strong. Fight for the ball. Charlton comes up with it. Gets away from him. The lob. Crane gets it batted away, and Southeast Polk comes up with it. Now with some speed, here's Charlton again. Attacks Crane. Takes it to the rim. Doesn't get it up and over. Keelis with the board. He'll slow the pace down a little bit. Got a little sloppy.
You know, I'm not mad at Charlton for doing that because when you're down, you got to put the ball in the hands of your best player. And that's what he is for Southeast Polk. And like we said, we expect him to take a little bit bigger role if we're going to get back in this thing as far as Southeast Polk goes.
Charlton ditches the sweatband. Keelis will ditch the ball into play.
Were you a sweatband guy, John?
Never a sweatband guy. Keyless for three. Another one stretching the twine. Gio Keyless has just lit it up from beyond the arc tonight. And there's been little to no response from Southeast Polk outside the paint. Inside the paint there, Gaffney needed an outlet. TT gets it blocked. Just quite didn't have it to get up and over. Turnover. TT comes up, lays it up and in. Nice move around Keyless. Emmanuel TT. His first points of the night, believe it or not.
Is that right?
It's Martins now, hounded by TT. He was looking for a screen, doesn't get it. Crane for three from the corner, short, but guess who's there? It's Coley with the putback on the offensive board. We've got an injury on the floor. I think a little bit of contact. TT and Gaffney ran into each other at the top of the arc on a switch. I think we got a bloody nose.
Oh boy, we do.
Or a mouth, one of the two. I think took it to the chops. Could be a tooth missing too.
Is he holding his nose or is it a tooth?
It looks like he's holding his tooth.
Okay.
I think they're going to check the floor for blood. Didn't see really where it happened. I saw a collision at the top of the arc earlier. We'll take a quick break here for the injury cleanup. Double check that everyone's good to go and be right back on Central Iowa Sports Network.
Run, jump, lift, swim, compete, connect, breathe. Whatever your workout, you'll find it at the Y, plus a whole lot more. Right now, you can try the Y for free. Visit any branch or online at dmymca.org. One membership, endless opportunities. Your YMCA.
We're back inside the Southeast Polk Gymnasium. Rams with the inbounds. It's Johnson into the front court with some pace. He's going to try and take it right to the rack, draw some contact. They're going to call a foul on the floor. Sam Ralston flagged for it. Because it is the fifth foul of the quarter, he'll go to the line to shoot two.
I was checking out the rosters yesterday, and ironically enough, I bounced the rosters basketball off football. There's not a lot of crossover guys, believe it or not, in these two perennial football schools, right? And so we mentioned Manuel TT, who was a defensive back. I guess I'd have to take another look at Dowling, but there weren't a lot of two-way players there.
Yeah. You know, Dowling has a massive football roster, and, you know, maybe a couple guys get in there here or there, but no one really stands out to the point on the football roster that I'm glancing at right now, at least.
Yeah, and maybe that comes with big schools, right, where you're kind of a one sport focus.
It's like, all right, so a couple guys in the extra there. Maddox Capolo is a free safety. Oldfield, who we haven't seen yet, is tight end. A couple of wide receivers in there, too, as ball's going to stay with Southeast Polk. Another foul here on Ralston, his third.
You know, speaking of dynasty with Dowling football, goodness gracious. Boy, they've got something special going there.
Yeah, always. It seems like it's nonstop at Dowling. Of course, Southeast Polk had that great run over the years. What a move by Big E. The spin cycle engaged again. He's on the board here in the third quarter. Dowling's bottled him up nicely, though, tonight. Johnson going to get called for the foul. Don't mind it. You have a few to give instead of eat some clock. Don't give up any easy buckets.
I haven't looked ahead at the schedule, but do we know of some good ones coming up, some good matchups in the next week or two, John?
Can take a peek.
Yeah, do that. I'd love to know. Because they're, you know, any given day in the CIML, it's got to be some solid teams going at it.
Looking ahead to the 12. The heave at the half, or at the end of the quarter, does not go. And when we come back from break, I'll let you know if we've got any good matchups coming our way in the weeks to come on Central Iowa Sports Network.
Run, jump, lift, swim, compete, connect, breathe. Whatever your workout, you'll find it at the Y, plus a whole lot more. Right now, you can try the Y for free. Visit any branch or online at dmymca.org. One membership, endless opportunities. Your YMCA.
Ever have one of those awkward moments when a business disappointed you? You got ripped off? Didn't get what you expected? The Better Business Bureau can help you avoid these uncomfortable situations. BBB accredited businesses are honest, ethical, and reviewed annually by the BBB. Don't experience another awkward moment with a bad business. Trust the ones that operate with integrity. Look for the BBB seal. It's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Last check, Waukee Northwest up 10-5 through a quarter at Ankeny tonight. That's a big boys matchup, and looking ahead on the calendars, you pose the question, partner. Well, Dowling Catholic's next game, Waukee Northwest. Top 5 matchup, 3 versus 2. Should be an absolute dandy next week.
That will be a fun one.
That one at Waukee Northwest on the 13th, so I believe that's Tuesday as the 3 from long range does not go. Good look, though, for Thomas Childs.
And like you said, every team certainly gets in postseason, right?
Yep.
But there's a little bit of a mental factor that happens, too. We beat you twice during the season, right? So I think there's that plays into it all as well.
Dowling 7.5 minutes away from another win. Win number 10 on the year as the 3's off, but putback doesn't go. Swatted off the rim there. Looked like Big E was able to get that rebound out and away, and now it's Southeast Polk's ball. TT into the front court. Dribbles. Great crossover. Attacks strong. Steps through at the rim. Up and in. Manuel TT up to 4 now.
That's what he can do. He's quick and shifty, and you saw a little bit of up and under, and speed kills, I've heard.
Certainly can. Consistency does too. Coley hounded. A little bit more physicality from the Rams here as the big take to the rack doesn't quite get there. Put back though, just so strong. Charlie Crane using that window for 2 more.
Yeah, kind of a quiet night for Charlie. 7 points, but still he got foul trouble early, and again, I think wasn't as aggressive as he could have been, but that's okay with a lead like this.
Leading scorer right now is Gio Keelis for Dowling. 14 points tonight. Big E, 14 for Southeast Polk. TT takes, draws some contact on his way down. We're going to call that on Capola. That'll send TT to the line for 2, and TT creating even when it's not always there.
Yeah, I saw a great broadcast by CISN earlier this year. I believe it was Southeast Polk and Valley. And Manny was great start to finish, right? They got out early. They got ahead. They were the aggressor instead of a little more passive. And that's where Southeast Polk wins. When they get ahead, they're the aggressor. They control the narrative, and they just didn't get a chance to do that tonight.
TT going to try and go 2 for 2 at the line. His second does go through. And Dowling Catholic going to go try and get back to work and keep that clock moving. Into Crane. Crane will feed it back to Coley. Coley will dish off, but not before a foul on the ground.
I'm not even for sure, John, if that was a dish or a tap away by the defender, but hey, it worked, right?
Off the inbounds, Keelis for 3, had an open look. Southeast Polk was still trying to get organized, a little disengaged, but looking for the feed there. Just got shut on Bronzeway Norris. Instead, he'll get it dished off, loses the handle. TT comes away with the loose ball again. TT crossing over, goes back up top, taken. Look out below. The slam by Charlie Crane.
Crowd got what they wanted. Didn't get the one earlier.
TT floater, no. Batted out, Dowling ball. Maroons imposing now. Just trying to put an exclamation point on it. That's blocked. They're going to call a foul. I'd say Crane did put the exclamation point on it with that slamma-jamma.
He sure did.
At the line to shoot to Jenkins. Nathan Jenkins had 9 in the first half.
So, John, is there a point when you're Dowling's head coach here, you're up pretty handily, you start pulling starters?
I'm sure Justin Einerson's probably thinking about that soon, getting the rotation a little bit deeper. We'll see what that looks like. Again, their roster not terribly huge. At least playing experience-wise. The second one off the iron. Yeah, and if you're Southeast Polk, maybe thinking a little bit of the same, trying to just get some experience from some of those young guys on the bench. The attack does not go. Coley, another rebound. Numbers the other way for Dowling. Keyless takes it to the rack. Hoop and the hack. Give him the and one. Keyless has been on a mission tonight. Game changer for Gio.
He really started taking off after we got his last name right.
had to make sure we corrected. My apologies again to the Keyless family.
It's a tough one, but man, he's had a nice night tonight.
He really has, and see if I can find some of his stats this season. He's been impressive, especially from beyond the arc this year, or tonight I should say.
And you look at his production. Historically over this year, he's not what you would probably consider your marquee player, but man, all these role players for Dowling, this is dangerous when you have good balance.
Keyless, 89 points in, 9 games played? So
yes.
Just under 10 points a game. Tonight, though, he's on a tear. Keyless has 17.
Well, we talked about Alfred Coley, too, and again, I love his game. But when you look at the stat sheet, a little bit like Keyless, the thing that jumps out, he averages 9 rebounds.
Yep.
Again, those are stat sheet fillers to really help teams win.
Coley also above his season average. Right around 9 per game. He's got 15 tonight. They're going to call a foul as we tick under 4.5 minutes to play in our 4A tilt. Dowling Catholic again, 9-0 entered the evening, going for win number 10. About 4.5 minutes away, up 20. Tipped away. Here's Charlie Crane one more time. He's going to take it and slam the poster. And that's going to be a 30-second timeout for Coach Stubbs. With that, I am going to toss to break, though, even though it's a quick 30, just to reset with 4:15 left to play here in the fourth quarter.
Iowans are working hard, but high prices make it even harder to keep food on the table. Record numbers need help. Your neighbors, your friends, your community. Stopping hunger starts here.
Thank you for tuning into today's broadcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our live events. You can also follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram in the description below for more coverage of Central Iowa high school sports and the Des Moines Menace. Now, back to the game.
Welcome back into Southeast Polk Gymnasium. Dowling up 58-39. A quick look up north. Waukee Northwest at Ankeny tonight, and the Wolves all over the Hawks. 57-36. The Wolves turned it on after a close first quarter. Saw them 10-5. Since then, the lid's blown off the hoop there for the Wolves. They're up to 60 now. Meanwhile, here, Southeast Polk just trying to find a little bit of a positive note to end the night on. That three does not go for Charlton, and you know, it's one of those things, it is a long season, out of break. It's always been interesting to me just how the basketball season lays out. The one thing I wish the state would allow is some holiday tournaments.
Yes.
You know, they're scrimmaging anyway. They're playing each other in non-sanctioned games or practices. Why not have a holiday tournament somewhere after the Christmas holiday and maybe leading up to New Year's or something like that?
I agree with that 100%. It just brings a little more excitement to certain games and things and championships and gives a little bit of a state tournament feel, right?
Right.
And I can feel like early January, some teams are a little asleep at the wheel.
Yep.
Right? And we know we're going to get into postseason.
Yep.
But still, momentum is a dangerous thing.
Well, and the other thing, too, is you create some opportunity for maybe some crossover east-west. You also can talk about maybe bringing up some of the 3A, 2A schools to play some of these top 4A schools just to see how they mix and mingle.
Absolutely. And again, like we said, the state of Iowa basketball is so good right now. Let's create some of those matchups with those tournaments. I love that idea.
It was prominent up in North Dakota when I was up there. Obviously, you know, North Dakota wasn't part of the federation regulations, so they actually had a shot clock when I was working up there back in 2014.
Wow.
Up to coming back to Des Moines. And so, it was a little shocking when I didn't see a shot clock on the Iowa high school backboards for all those years. And, you know, teams played the way they needed to with it. I think it's been a great addition. I think 40 seconds is the right answer. 35 seconds is certainly a good medium for them.
Right.
It's not forcing teams to rush necessarily, but it does force an active possession.
Well, thank goodness for the shot clock, because you remember the days of somebody could run the wheel and run 5-6 minutes off the clock.
I mean, it happened in an overtime in a state championship. Valley.
Right.
Yeah, Valley did that, go on to win a state title. And, you know, it's well within the rules. It just doesn't make for necessarily exciting basketball in that case. And, you know, but it's still well-used tactic. But, yes, I think the shot clock's been a welcomed addition. It's forced teams to think how they're playing a little differently. And, you know, I don't think it's harmed as much basketball as people maybe argued it could.
Yeah, I mean, and fans don't come to games not to see offense. It's like fans don't go to baseball games to watch walks.
Yep.
Right? We want to see some action. And so I think the sport has done a good job, of implementing certain things, but again, what you and I are wanting is matchups.
Yep.
And again, we're blessed enough to have the CIML where, for instance, like next week, we're going to see Dowling hook up with Northwest, right?
Yep.
But we want to see that more often.
Absolutely is. That one will fall through. The lead is back down to 17, but under 3 minutes to play, there's just not enough time for Southeast Polk to really claw back into this one tonight. It's been a fun one. I think Dowling Catholic has certainly looked the part of a number 3 team in the state. They're going to be a force come tournament time. So that one will flip out of bounds.
Yeah, and this is fun for me and John. Thanks for teaming up with me, because you're one of the best of the best, and it's just fun to get out there and watch talent, right?
Yep.
And then we can have a conversation and watch Dowling and watch how good they are and say, oh my God, John, they're going to play Northwest next week, right?
Yep.
And that's exciting for us. And so, you know, anytime I can get out and we can get out and talk about talented athletes, the better.
Of course, we also have some wrestling on the docket next week, I believe, on CISN. Should be a fun one there, too. And so we shall see how everything kind of shakes out. I did call some wrestling earlier this year at Southeast Polk, actually. I think it was their season opener against Johnston. And that one was an electric atmosphere. It's always great when they turn the lights out, get the spotlight going on the mat, and, you know, set the stage for what's going to be what is a fun run to mid-February. To me, there's still no better state tournament experience. I think track's up there.
Yep.
State track is a great time. But state wrestling finals night, you will be hard-pressed to find a better high school sporting atmosphere in the country.
You will never find a better atmosphere, and you'll never find a seat, because they're going to put 14,000 in that for Saturday night, and that's what it's all about, right? You know, doing that kind of stuff. And I heard through the grapevine you're quite a hockey announcer. Now, for me, we did talk. I would be like a fish out of water trying to call hockey, but certainly you're a man of many skills.
Yeah, grew up playing hockey, you know, fortunate enough to keep keeping the sports world through CISN here, and also doing some stuff for the Iowa Wild as a color commentator and host for their AHL hockey broadcasts on the home game streams. And credit to Ben Gislason, who's the play-by-play and team services head over there. He's allowed me to be a great part of that. But it's fun for me. I got out of TV, but still enjoy being around the sports world, and great seeing fun faces. Great promoting these young people that work so hard and put in so much time and effort to put on great displays. So
yeah, it's so fun. And again, I feel really fortunate again to work with you and CISM, because these are truly people that care about the evolution of high school athletics.
Yep.
And from Paul Yeager to what he does with IPTV to what CISN does, and Paul's part of the CISN team as well. These are folks that are just really innovating in this space. Replays and interviews and coaches interviews, and I just love the way this is going, and we're seeing some of the best in our state.
And a look around the rest of our broadcast. Northwest on the top, Ankeny pretty big there, as that's a nice bucket by Big E. Lead down to 14. Quick glance, Waukee and Urbandale boys basketball just getting out of halftime right now. A little bit behind us just because I think their girls game went late. The Waukee girls topping Urbandale, I think in a close one there, 3-point game if I recall.
No, on the boys' side, Urbandale's sneaky good. I haven't seen any Urbandale games. I don't know if you have, John.
I haven't yet this year, but no, they're pretty. They have the ability to shock some people, and that's kind of night in and night out in the CIML. If you're not bringing your best, they can certainly make life a little difficult. But Urbandale's been a solid team, I'd say, for the most part as of late. They've had their ups and downs through the years, but that's how basketball goes. You think back to the even Alan Lazard years,
yes,
at Urbandale, and some of the great teams they had there. And so yeah, it's one of those schools where they've got some rich tradition, but certainly trying to get back on the up and up. They've had some good football years as of late too. So yeah, just kind of keeping it busy. Urbandale is up on the Waukee boys right now, 38-33. They just started quarter number 3 out in Waukee. So I'm sorry, make that 39-33. We are under a minute 10 here.
Yep.
And we apologize. Obviously, with the game getting a bit out of hand and lopsided, we tend to drift off into conversation. Is another nifty lay-in. Charlie Crane still in this game. He's up to 13 points, chance to make it 14. He's quietly built his points total tonight.
And I can understand why Charlie's in, right? Because he missed a little bit of the early in the season with the wrist. You got a Ferrari in the garage, you got to drive it, right?
Yep.
And so Charlie's still on the court, and he's getting some good minutes, and I'm glad to see that. I would expect looks like he's got somebody waiting for him at the scorer's bench after he hits these free throws.
A couple subs for Southeast Polk too. Valiant effort tonight, just ran into the buzzsaw that is Dowling Catholic. Again, no one's beaten the Maroons yet this season. A perfect 10-0 on the way. I think Charlie didn't want to sub out.
I don't think so either. Was that by design?
I'm not going to do that to him. That's a big 3 by Big E. Take a look again. Dowling Catholic's next big game is Northwest. Wolves have lost 1 this season. But you look at, Dowling's slate. They blew out Valley. Topped Johnston by 4. They beat Waukee. They beat Roosevelt. So you look ahead. They'll take a look at the film tonight, take away some positives, up 17 now. And this one's all but over. For Southeast Polk, what's next for them? Let's take a gander down the line. Southeast Polk will host Valley. They'll host Johnston and then Waukee. So some challenging steps here. Valley down a bit this year after winning the 3 straight state titles. So much turnover on that roster. They're still trying to find the right pieces, but I have a feeling that'll come together as time goes on. Big 3 from Johnson there. As we tick under 5, final horn about to sound. But Southeast Polk with some winnable games on the docket.
Yeah, and I liked what you said earlier about the parity, meaning that anybody can beat anybody any given night, right? So Southeast Polk will go back to the drawing board. They'll learn from this, but their schedule isn't going to lay down for them the rest of the way. You got to bring your game every night.
Dowling brought it to Southeast Polk tonight. Keelis, the star of the show, 17 points for him. Big night. Coley as well had himself a solid one with 15 last check. And Dowling Catholic gets the win over the Southeast Polk Rams, 68-54. John Schaefer, Ryan, thanks so much for joining us tonight. To our great crew, a wonderful broadcast on the Central Iowa Sports Network. We'll see you next week.